Good evening, one and all. Welcome back once again to Notte Eterna. The moon is high and the night is young, and here we are about to tell another collaborative tale here in the Eternal Night of Notte Eterna. I'm Kevin, your humble dungeon master and the U.S. ambassador for the brand here, in charge of the channel, trying to make sure we get some really awesome stories going. And tonight, we're going to start a doozy with some great players that you see surrounded around me. I love this part because I get to have these really cool powerhouses just kind of engulf me and protect me from the dark. So it's amazing. So before we dive into that, let me say that we want to welcome everybody. If this is your first time tuning in, thanks for showing up. If it's your not first time, if you're returning, whatever you want to call it, thanks for coming back. This is the start of a brand new arc, 5-part series that we're going to be doing with these same players. So if you've seen previous episodes, that's awesome. And if you haven't, not a problem, because there's no prior experience necessary. We are playing Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, and we are playing in Notte Eterna, which is a new grimdark setting that is published by Ali Rebelli and created by Jason Forbes. Again, I'm Kevin. I'll be your humble dungeon master. Let's take a moment to go around and let's meet our awesome players that will be telling a story with me tonight. We're going to start, typically we would start here on my left, but one of our players will emerge at a more dramatically appropriate time next week. And tonight we'll therefore start on my other side with Brian, first time on the channel. Welcome, Brian. Thanks for being here, buddy. Just tell everybody real quick who you are and what character you're playing. We will save our big, awesome, cool announcements of all the other awesome stuff you're doing for a little bit later, because we want to get into the action. So please, Brian, start us off. Tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, I'm Brian. I also go by Helix or Helix Missionary, pretty much anywhere that you can find me. And tonight I'm going to be playing Sir Calbert of Ouin.
Indeed you are. Yes, he is a knight, correct? He's
Yes, he is a fated knight, in fact. He worships the fallen sun god Leon.
Oh, yes, indeed. And that's going to come into play, so I can't wait to see that. So it'd be first time you being on the channel, as I mentioned, and also first time we're going to see a fated knight in play, so that'll be really fun to see, too. So thanks for being here. I look forward to doing this with you.
Absolutely.
We're going to jump on down to the bottom row to the player who clearly got the assignment and got all the extra credit turned in. Katie, what a pleasure to have you here. It's always fun to play with you. We've done some other experiences before. So Katie, please tell us who you're playing tonight and a little bit about where they can find you, and tell us more.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Katie. I'm Katie O Lady on socials. I get around. I do some games with the Crossroads games run by Adam Sowards and Carrie Smith. That's where Kevin and I met, and sometimes guest on Cast Eye podcast. And just I like to play here and there. It's only my second time streaming on Twitch, so. First time was also with you, Kevin, so very exciting and excited to play with you guys again. I am playing Izo, who is an Urakian keeper of secrets druid, hybridized with a bat. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how that goes. And she's also dipping her toes in warlock, although she's not really sure what that means yet.
Excellent. Well, Katie, thank you for being here. Like I said, it's always fun to play with you, and this I'm sure will be no exception. So I'm looking forward to diving in and seeing what Izo does tonight. So thank you. Finally, going to round us all off, our favorite man on the internet, Ian, who we've played with together before, but this is also your first time on the channel tonight. So please, Ian, tell us a little bit about you real quick and who you are playing tonight.
Yep. What's going on, everybody? I'm Ian, or your boy Big on all socials. And tonight I'm playing Malik, the Dance Macabre Bard. It's gonna be fun.
Absolutely, yes. Dance Macabre has been a very, very popular subclass in this game. People love it. It's really, really cool, and you'll see why if you're just tuning in for the first time. Ian, thanks for being here, buddy. I'm looking forward to seeing Malik in action, so it's gonna be fun. I'm so super thrilled and excited to be doing this. So before we have any sort of further ado, again, thank you for tuning in, and shall we do it? Shall we dive on into Arc 4, Spheres of Influence? So, as normal, our adventure begins in the land of Nier. It is a land of eternal night and eternal dark. It has been 161 years since the god of the sun, Laun, was stripped from his holy seat and imprisoned by one of his enemies, the god of darkness and deceit. During this time, the land of Nier has been permanently changed. The sun no longer rises, the moon holds permanent sway, and those who survive and live in this land are those who have to sometimes make choices that would not typically be necessary. In our tale tonight, we will dive into a certain avenue that would explore what choice is all about and where the fine line between fate and free will is drawn. Specifically, our journey tonight will begin in the Duchy of Ouin, which is found in the northern section of the continent of Nier. It is a land that is a meritocracy. It is ruled over by a duke and a duchess who earned their position. That is a world that is full of kingdoms, feudalism, a little bit more of a typical traditional fantasy setting that we're used to, however, touched by the eternal night. In this area, we will begin our tale specifically this evening with a lone figure who makes his way through the dark. Sir Calbert is a fated knight, and as such, he makes his way through the eternal night. And as he looks up briefly at the moon at the top of its zenith, marking the midday, for in Nier, the people here have learned to adjust to the dark. And because Laun gave the last bits of his power before he was usurped to the moon to continue the sway, there has been that as the main source of telling time and purpose of the day. So, when we open, traveling through a darkened wood, if we could, Brian, please tell us exactly what do we see when Sir Calbert comes into view?
Yeah, I think that it very much fits the painting of this duchy as something that otherwise might be a very sort of standard fantasy land were it not for the eternal night. And that's sort of what we're seeing with Sir Calbert, is that he might look like more of your standard fantasy knight if it weren't for the darkness in which he finds himself. He is mounted on a horse, and he is riding along, but the figure who might otherwise have looked like, you know, this very sort of heroic knight in shining armor kind of character looks so clearly worn down by the darkness in a lot of ways. His hair has gone prematurely white, and his clothes, while practical and serviceable, and his armor even, they're all very clearly worn and stained, and the armor is battered from countless battles that he has faced over the many years of darkness. He trots along on his horse, sort of surveying the land around him, keeping an eye on that moon up above as it helps to light the way. Also lighting his way is a curious lantern that he has on a long sort of pole held out, sort of strapped to the saddle so that it can help light the way a little bit. And he consults the lantern sort of frequently as he rides along.
Absolutely. As you make your way through the night, Sir Calbert, you will find that the night here is quiet. Typically, there is sound of animals scurrying about in the forested areas that are nearby. The area of the duchy here specifically is large rolling pastures, which are also dotted with strange trees that have been touched by the effects of Laun being stripped from the sky. There are strange bioluminescent mushrooms found on the horizon in certain areas that do partially light your way as well. And as you move along, you do have a certain feeling. You're on a bit of a quest. You've dedicated your life to the return of Laun, hopefully, and his power to be brought back. And during this time, you have specifically sworn an oath as a paladin, as a knight, to try to make sure that you can make sure that certain enemies no longer see the people as a threat. So as you're going along, your mind drifts back to most recently the reason why you set out from Ouin proper. In this moment, if you could, please make a perception check. First roll of the new arc will fall to you, my friend.
Fantastic. Let's see if we set a good or a bad precedent for
Oh,
how
I-
things will come. All right, that is going to be a 16.
Okay, that's a pretty strong start, I think. As you ride along, you are always vigilant. You are always keeping your ear open, your eyes open, as you mentioned. And as you ride along on the back of your horse, your lantern lighting the way, you note that up ahead there is a sound that seems to cut through part of the trees that are above. Ahead of you, rather. It sounds almost like a whisper caught on the wind. Low voices that are talking amongst themselves, almost in a conspiratorial manner. You don't recognize the voices and you can't quite make out what they're saying, but you do hear them. What would you like to do with that information?
Well, the very first thing that Sir Calbert does is definitely look again to his lantern and notice, hopefully, if there's any change in the color of the flame being produced.
I see. Specifically, your lantern has a color changing effect. Specifically, what does that tell you, Sir Ouin?
Well, when within 300 feet of any undead creatures, the flame burns green.
Ah, yes. So as you look to the lantern and study it for a moment, you see that there is no change to its off whitish blue color, and you know that therefore you're not surrounded by undead. The sound, as you do you pause or do you just continue to ride along?
He pauses for a moment to do that, and once he's sure that this is not, a cadre of vampires or some such that he's about to ride on, he does urge his horse forward once again, and is just sort of riding towards the source of the sound.
Yes, absolutely. As you ride along, you do notice that as you pick up your pace a little bit, just to kind of be aware and to move towards the voices, you hear them dribble off into dark and eventually fade away into nothing. So it's if they discovered you or not, if they heard you coming, you're not entirely sure. You can't tell the motives behind why they suddenly stopped talking, other than they do. Nearby, there is another figure who cuts a darker path out through the dark, and as they do, walking with a little bit of a certain sway, a certain rhythm in their step, there is this figure as they move along. If you could please, Ian, before we even have you describe who you are, could you roll a perception check, please?
Of course. All right. Oh, I like that. 19.
Okay, all right. As this figure is walking along, they have a sudden hitch in their step, and they listen for a moment as their head slowly turns in the direction of a rider on a horse that is approaching from the nearby area to the east. As this figure stands there, we will find our vision starts at their boots and slowly moves up to reveal their face. So Ian, if you could describe exactly what do we see then when Malik comes into view of the audience?
What you're gonna see is a darker skinned male, full head of dreads that are going back with just hints of gray on a few dreads. Definitely dressed in a way that you wouldn't expect for this setting. He's in a very clear black suit and a standard white shirt. Jewelry adorns his neck, piercings across his ears and his face. And although he is a darker skinned male, his skin is just somewhat moon-kissed. Maybe it could be the light of the night, but it's something that you notice. And he stops and he stands there and he's a little confused, but then he reaches into his pocket like frantically and he's like, oh, okay, perfect. And he pulls out like a rolled up cigarette and lights it, and he just kind of stands there and watches to see what the rider is going to do.
Okay. I'm going to say with that same roll, well, let me ask this. I don't want to assume anything. Are you trying to be stealthy at all? Or are you just going to have your presence be known if the rider would notice you?
Yeah, like once the rider comes up, they're going to see me. He's not being stealthy. He's just more so like menacingly standing there, just like, I'm not moving. Nope.
I see.
This is it.
All right, then. So, Sir Calbert, on the back of your horse, there is suddenly a small little prick of light that is in the dark, and it draws your attention. Your gaze just naturally goes to the lantern once more. No change again. And so you look over to the light, and what you notice is this figure standing, almost like a shadow that just emerged out of the dark. You see him standing there, the figure that Ian just described, and he is lowering what seems to be some sort of metal device in his hand, and he has a strange-looking stick in his mouth, maybe.
You can see the faint glow, like with each inhale, like just the front part of his face, and then just smoke.
Yep.
Yeah, Calbert's gaze strays to the lantern. His hand strays to the hilt of a sword that is strapped to the side of the saddlebags.
Whoa,
as-
hey. He puts his hands up, hey.
No, yeah. As he sees that the lantern doesn't change and this character is just sort of standing there, he does, draw his hand back and sort of rides up and gives a sort of nod in greeting. Well met, Sarah. The knight treats you well?
Yeah. It does. The knight treats you well also. Where are you coming from?
I ride from elsewhere in the Duchy. I
In
ride
the what?
the Duchy?
Oh, that's all in character. The Duchy.
Of
That's cool.
Ouin. Where do you find yourself, stranger? Have you wandered here from elsewhere and near?
Yeah. I'm new to the Duchy.
Well met to you. I don't advise simply standing alongside of these roads. The knights have begun to patrol them once again, and we are seeking to reclaim the land and restore some sense of peace and order, but this is a slow process.
Knights patrolling the land. Gotcha. Where is it that you're going?
At the moment, wherever the moon takes me.
And where's that?
I don't know. That's the...
Yeah.
I was trying to be a little more formal than admitting that I am simply riding until I find something that calls me to action.
So you're about as lost as I am. Good.
Lost might be a bit of an overstatement, but direction.
You don't know where you're going. Directionless. Yeah.
A man is
From
not
that's
lost. A man is not lost if he doesn't know where he's going. He's lost if he doesn't know where he is.
Yeah, well, then the man without direction has no destination he can speak of, so I get it. Cool. Do you mind some additional company? And kind of steps a little bit forward, slowly, of course, not trying to cause any alarm. And you do see, like, across his back is a stringed instrument. And he goes, wherever you're going, I'm sure they like music.
I'm not exactly the sort of knight who's usually accompanied by a minstrel, but I won't say no if you seek to simply walk alongside the same path. The roads are open to all who would tread them.
Sure. Two directionless fellas going in the same direction.
Well spoken. I am Sir Calbert, Sirrah.
Malik, pleasure.
Well, shall we, Malik?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
That's
as the
another
two
cigarette.
of you begin to turn, he takes another pull off of this thing that he's apparently. It looks like you've seen people smoke pipes before. It's almost like he's smoking a pipe, but it's a long tube almost. It's weird.
It's one of those weird foreign pipes. They haven't come to the duchy yet. It's all good.
Could be, yes. You've heard tales of people doing strange things in other kingdoms, so maybe. Um, as the two of you turn almost in unison to go towards the direction you were already traveling, you see in the air ahead of you, probably a good 300 feet or so, the horizon nearby. You could just see that there is some sort of strange magenta, almost pink-like energy that dances across the air there. It almost looks like a flash of lightning, but you don't see a bolt. You just see this energy, this purple almost effect on the distance there, letting you know that there is something up ahead. It sparks for a moment, and it just has a quick flash before it vanishes, and it leaves the night dark once more.
Malik?
Yeah, no, I saw it too. Is that normal around here?
You remember when I said I was riding until I found something that called me to action?
Mm-hmm.
The call must be answered, my friend.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not doing anything else.
Excellent. So the two of you set off in that direction. And what we will find is as you continue in that direction, there are a couple of more of these purple, magenta, fuchsia-like energy spikes that flash through the air. They start off quickly, small, little just flittering little darts of energy. But then, as you start to get closer, you notice that the energy almost seems to become more pronounced, more regular, lasting for slightly different, longer periods of time. And in that moment, you can see up ahead that there are, in these flashes, some shadows that seem to dance across, almost like reverse silhouettes that dance across the ground as the energy flashes, as someone is illuminated by the energy, by the light here. With this, you clearly would gather, Sir Calbert, that basically what it looks like is that there's probably at least 4 individuals, maybe even more, that are up ahead doing whatever is here. You are familiar with magics. You're familiar with different types of effects of this nature, so it could be someone is up to something specifically. Do you have any sort of impetus to do anything about this, or what would be your method of trying to determine what's going on?
I mean, if it looks like anything that he is particularly familiar with, then he might take a moment to try and study it, but Calbert is definitely not a scholar by any particular standard.
Sure.
He's much more a man of action. So he is probably going to take a moment to assess the situation, and sort of, point out to Malik and make sure that he's also aware, like, okay, we got, 4 or 5 people here. Let's go ahead and start, like, moving in. They might, these lands, like I said, we are attempting to resettle them, almost, bring back a semblance of the peace and prosperity that once the duchy held. It has been a very long time since it was a stable place, though. There are many brigands and fouler beings who stalk these roads. So, we can approach, but be on your guard. And with that, he's gonna, once again, heels to the horse's flanks and get it moving a little bit faster towards the disturbance up ahead.
Of course. Malik, you see as Sir Calbert presses along that the flash of light above looks very familiar to you. You saw this same effect shortly before you found yourself in this area. When your journey brought you here, you're traveling to try to figure out what exactly happened after your interaction with the woman. And as you are walking along behind Sir Calbert on the horse, you do have a certain feeling of familiarity as the lightning, you'll call it lightning, it's the word that makes the most sense to you. He mentioned something about magic, but that sounds a little strange. But you do see that as the lightning flashes for a brief moment, it brings back a memory of you performing for a moment, and you see out in the crowd of the onlookers in the area, the dining room, as it were, as they watch you, that woman in the back, her eyes boring into you. And you seem to shake the memory away for a moment. But you continue along behind him. He is a little bit faster, obviously. He's on a horse, but he is riding slow enough for you to keep up well enough.
Yeah, I think after that kind of like flashback moment, Malik is he's a little shaken, but he's more so concerned about what's going on. The light is extremely interesting, and he's definitely picking up the pace to meet with Sir Cal.
Absolutely. As the two of you move closer, you'll see that the shadows, again, they are illuminated briefly. It seems to be definitely at least four, maybe another. You can't quite tell. The figures seem to be moving in and about as the flashes of light illuminate them. And as you get closer, you'll see that all of a sudden, as the flashes continue, they get a bit stronger. There is a strange breeze that starts to blow as well. It starts to rustle the trees that are nearby, even though they're a good distance away. And the light gets absurdly bright in this moment. As it gets so bright, it actually is bright enough that you both please make a Constitution saving throw to avoid, not for damage or anything, but just to avoid averting your gaze of how bright it is. You're not used to something this bright because you are in a world of eternal darkness. So
Malik is keeping up with Kelbert, right? Like we're pretty much side by side, close to each other.
Yeah, close enough. Yeah, he might be a couple feet behind you because he is on foot, but yeah, you're riding slow enough for him to keep up with you.
All right, then Malik is going to get a +4 bonus to his saving throw.
Oh, excellent. Hey, that's teamwork already. I love it.
I got a 19.
I got a 21.
Okay.
With everything added.
That's it. Perfect. So you both maintain your view on the light. You might squint a little bit, but you don't look away. And as you don't look away, you notice that there in the center of these bright, flashing magenta lights, there is suddenly a small, shadowy form that begins to come out, almost like a long figure stretching its arm out towards the both of you. Sound that almost sounds like a mixture between a scream and a screech. And there is then something that almost trips or falls or maybe even dances out of the light, and a small form comes forward. Not small, I mean, this is a humanoid type person, you realize in this moment, as the shadow starts to come into focus, and as the lights flicker and flash one more time, brightest that they have ever been, they suddenly flash away, leaving the two of you in the dark. There's that after effect that you have of when you see something so bright, it has that afterburn image in your eyes, and you struggle for a moment to realize what's going on. And then you see a figure standing in the pathway ahead of you both in the pasture. And this figure, Katie, I think this is a perfect time for you to take us at a little bit of a virtual journey, a visual journey rather, on who exactly it is that they see standing here as Izo comes into the story, please.
Oh, well, Izo stumbles out and is dusting herself off. Very discombobulated, you would say, and disheveled, and then tries to, look cool after that, and then she notices you. This is a strange-looking person, and she is like a bat, but also like a human-like body, but pretty furry arms and legs, and bat-like facial features, but some very wild white hair and wings, big wings, and probably nothing like you've ever seen before, but could be scary. But there's also this very sort of immature, clumsy kind of air about her, like she's trying very hard to look important and official.
Indeed. Malik, you don't know exactly what type of person this is. This is very strange to you. You have not seen someone who looks like this before, ever. However, Sir Calbert, if you could, just make a straight up either intelligence or wisdom check. Your choice. I'll let you decide, because you are a little more familiar with what might be happening here.
Yeah, I got a 13 on wisdom.
Okay. I would say that's enough for you to realize that this is definitely an Urakian. You have met and encountered Urakians before. They're one of the common races here and near. However, you've never seen one that looks quite like a bat person before. So this person, she is very unique looking, but you're not like totally taken aback, like, whoa, what is going on here? You recognize what type of creature. Creature's the wrong type of word to use, I think, here, but you know what type of person this is. So
Yeah.
and yeah, please go ahead, continue, everyone.
Oh, hello. I am Izo. Who are you? Oh, I see. I have disturbed you with my looks. I have that effect on people a lot. I am Izo, Urakian, bat person. I think maybe your people sometimes say, and I am friendly. And what are you?
Malik's just gonna look at Sir Calvert and go, Malik, person, confused.
Oh, I know that. Oh no, I have poop on my shoe.
Calbert is he's letting go of the sword's hilt again, and he's like he sort of raises the hand in a gesture of like peace. And Sir Calbert of Ouin, the wandering knight. This night is certainly shaping up to be an interesting one. Many strange companions meeting on the road, so it were. He's also sort of looking around. Those other figures that you described before who seemed to be there when the lights were flashing, are they gone now?
You don't have any sign of them as you look around. No.
Izo, was it? If you would be
yes.
so kind, Lady Izo, as to are you aware of how you've just arrived? Was this an intentional?
Yes and no. So I am here on purpose, and I have come in search of something, someone's. I came here. I meant to come here to win, but I have never done it before.
If I could,
of course.
while Sir Calvert and Izo are having this conversation, Malik kind of wants to like step back a little bit, maybe a little behind the horse.
Okay.
And he's going to grasp his lighter. I want to cast Detect Magic in the area.
Okay, absolutely. You have this inherent connection to effects, I guess you would say, since you encountered that woman that night before you were changed. And as you feel out with that energy, with that feeling, that sixth sense that you have now, you reach out and you can feel along the edges of where that energy was, that light was, there is definitely a faint glow of something. There is some sort of residual effect. It almost looks to you like that, again, that afterburn of like when you watch fireworks and they sizzle away and for a brief moment after you see them still. It's almost like that, but on a bigger scale. You see that there is definitely energy that still is dancing around the very periphery of your vision, and it's slowly fading away. There is also, you can tell, something a little bit past that you have a tingle about, but you don't quite see it.
Malik takes the lighter and he looks down at it and he goes, "Appreciate it, Granddad." And he puts his lighter in his back pocket, and he's just gonna start walking in that direction. He's not gonna say anything to anyone. He's not gonna be sneaking or stealthy. It's just more so of like, what is this? To just kind of follow the cheese.
Well, you've traveled a very long way. I understand that Urakians are native to a very distant Malik, where are you?
I think I saw something this way. I'm gonna go see what it is.
Is he
Perhaps
going
we should
toward the
all-
light where I just came from?
He is. He is walking past where you just came from. Your memory is a little bit fuzzy right now, Izo. You remember the purple energy. You remember kind of getting drawn into it when you were on your quest with the others to find the obsidian. And you don't exactly remember how you got here, but you know that that energy had something to do with it. You can definitely tell that that was going on. And you look back, yes, to where you emerged, and you can see that the land behind you is slightly different than it looked before. There was a small keep that was behind you, about 500 feet or so behind you, that you don't actually see when you turn around to look at it. You can see that there are trees that are semi up around the area that weren't there before. So definitely you've traveled.
Malik, human, there's nothing over there anymore. There was. I have come from a long way, and I'm looking for a group of bad people called the Obsidian. They have done terrible things. They are responsible for this darkness. Not that I don't like the dark, but we need the sun, opposites attract and everything. So I am sent to find them, and you look like you could help. I will tell you anything that you want to know, as long as it's something I don't not want to tell you.
My apologies. Lady Izo, you said the Obsidian is the name of
Yes,
this group that you're hunting?
Yes, do you know of the Obsidian?
I am aware of them, yes. They've been a danger in the Duchy of late.
Yes. Definitely a danger in the Duchy.
I'm still walking in the direction.
Okay.
It's more so of like a no, I appreciate that information, Miss Iza, but there's just something over here I want to look at.
All right. Go to town.
Perhaps we should accompany him.
Oh,
Frank-
right. Yes, okay.
Calbert, he leans over a little bit and he says, I call it intuition from many years on the road, but there's something a little strange about him. I'm not sure he's quite all there.
Oh, really? Well, I think this is good. I like that.
You know, it's fairly quiet out here. I can hear you.
I wasn't particularly
yes.
attempting to be... Carry on, Malik.
As long as you know.
Well, I was told that there are many dangerous things here, in addition to the Obsidian. So I was told to find some people that could help. And you seem like some such people.
I'm
for
certainly already interested in dealing with the Obsidian, if I can.
Yes. Well, then, I think we should stick together, at least for now. Malik, human, what do you say?
Yeah, it's fine.
All right.
Yes, the two of you have seen that he has moved away.
This is good.
Yeah, he is on the edge of the tree line that you notice. And Malik, where you are currently standing, you see that through the trees there is what looks to be a slight drop off, and there is a lower recessed area below. Around the edge of this recessed area up here, you notice that there are a couple of stones that are half buried in the ground here. And as you draw closer to them, you notice that they're stones that look like they're partially polished, partially squared off. Bricks, I guess you could say, but larger scale. Definitely something that would have been like a building or something was here, but now it's not entirely there. You also notice something else. You notice that there is a very faint, almost imperceptible, you actually feel it rather than see it for a moment. And it's not until you actually take a moment to stop and really focus on it that you notice the very faint, again, purplish pink energy that is kind of rippling through the area. And then you see that there are 6 figures moving about in the dark, looking like they are preparing something. There is one of them that has a book of some sort. 2 others have what looks to be some sort of stone altar, maybe, that they are assembling in the center of an area that seems to be carved out of the ground. The ground down in the recess is a mixture of stone and also where the grass and other things have grown up through sections between the stone. And they're moving about, and this symbolage on the ground is actually carved into that. There are sporadic candles that are positioned around, not lit, but you do see all of this, and it is something that you take note of. As the other 2, you hear approaching you from behind as they catch up to you.
Shh. There's a group of people down there. I mean, whoever here is, I know an altar when I see one.
An altar?
Group of people, an altar? How many people?
Yeah, 6.
Oh. Well. And I would know, Kev, that these are not my people, right?
Right, yeah.
No
These
one
are
else
definitely
came
not your
through with
people.
me.
Right.
All right. I think one of us should get closer to see what they're doing, if they have weapons.
And as you step forward, suddenly there is a bright, vibrant flash of that purple energy again. It ripples out in a spiral out through the center of the air, and all 6 of the figures are illuminated as they are moving their way through the ruins. You can see now that the main one who has the book is actually chanting something. You can't quite make out exactly what they are saying, other than it is a deep, resonant voice that seems to be calling out for something. Some sort of power, some sort of energy ripples through that voice, as it's slightly louder than it should be. And as the light ripples through the air and illuminates everything, you all see this sight of the, now you notice, Ezo, the keep that you were exploring. You see that this is where it should be, but it's in ruins. It's been partially destroyed, and you can see that all around are the fragmented sections of this building that used to stand. Sir Calbert, you recognize these figures by the cloaks that they wear, a deep, dark, ebon color that have traces of purple around them. These are the followers of the tyrant. These are the Obsidian, and they definitely are in the middle of some sort of foul ritual. And as the light continues to grow and to spread, you all get the instinctive feeling that maybe this isn't really great. There's probably something nefarious that they're up to with this going on, but they have not seemed to have noticed the 3 of you approach as of now. What do you guys want to do?
How far away are we from them?
You are basically 30 feet away.
Oh, well, we're right there. Okay.
I mislike this foul ritual. If you wish to approach unseen, I wish you well in that endeavor. I have no such need. And Calbert's gonna sort of wheel his horse around and look for, is there a way for him to, like, basically he's getting ready to just charge in.
Okay, well then I think on that note, then let's go ahead and let's bring up a battle map so we can see exactly what we're seeing here, and let's have all 3 of you, as well as these cultists, roll some initiative.
I didn't mean to make you guys roll initiative.
Is there anything,
That's all
do
right,
we have a moment
let's
to
go.
prepare or do anything?
You will have a moment to prepare. What we're going to do is we're going to roll initiative just so the numbers are out there, and what we'll do is we will have there be a round where basically we're going to have Sir Calbert do something, because he's going to go on in there, and then we'll kind of determine how the initiative wants to get resolved after that. But for now, we'll just roll it so it's all out there, and we have it up and about.
We got a 14 for initiative.
Okay. See my pen working here. All right, so Malik, I'm sorry, you had a 14?
14.
14, okay. And Ezo, what did you get?
18.
18, okay. Calbert.
I got a 9.
Oh, perfect, okay.
Leroy Jenkins.
Exactly what I was thinking. Yep. And okay, then the baddies, they're going to go just on a shared initiative roll, so they are going to go on a dirty 20 because they got 18 plus 2.
course.
Okay, so what we'll do is we will start off with them. They are just continuing the ritual. They don't seem to notice as of yet. However, Sir Calbert, on your horse. Now we don't really have a token on the map here for your horse, but that's fine. What I'll do is I will just make something happen here. So, what did you want to do specifically? Did you? Oh, look at that!
What a horse!
Miko,
Oh
thank
my
you very
gosh.
so much. Miko, our illustrious producer, off screen magically made a horse appear. It's like he is a wizard summoning. Thank you, Miko. We
He's-
love you for this stuff, my friend. He's even putting you on the back of the said horse. I
Excellent.
love it. Thank you so much,
And
Miko.
Horse
I
was
appreciate
huge.
that.
You got me over here walking with that big old horse.
I know, right? Look at this guy. Alrighty, so Sir Calbert, they went on there, and then you'll go, and then we'll just kind of discuss real quick how we want to do this. Because as you can see, there's a little bit of a distance. I would say on the back of your horse, if you wanted to make a full charge, you easily could get in there. One thing I want to note about the terrain, however, is as you look at the battle map here, what you will see is that the cultists are located over here. Okay,
Mhm.
the altar is this little square area that we see. Also,
Yep.
you'll see that there are these areas here around that. That represents basically like a 10-foot recess down in. You guys are at the
Mhm.
top of that. They are below you. So if you wanted to do that, you'd have to like jump down or whatever. You'll see that there's an area over here where it's a pretty steep slope that goes down into that. It's almost like a little bit of a wall. And then the area here and over here, these are like ramped areas that slowly go down in there.
Mhm.
Might be a safer way to take your horse down if that is so what you are inclined to do. So, what
Yeah.
did you want to do, sir?
Yeah, I mean, Calbert is he's gonna be sort of wheeling around on his horse to come down to like this area. Whoops. If I move the horse, I move me. So
That is okay.
there we go.
It looked awesome.
So yeah, he'll sort of wheel around towards this area as he starts to ride down, and having basically realized what these individuals are and deciding that they are villains who need to be put down. As he sort of gets to this point, he does the classic heroic rear up the horse. It lets out a loud neigh, and he unsheathes his sword. And as he does so, it is plain to all that it burns with a very pale fire that is a sad imitation of perhaps what the sun's glow might have looked like. And it's probably a little closer to the glow of the moon at this point. But it burns with this flame as he unsheathes it. And he cries out, "Dawn upon you!" And begins to charge in.
Absolutely. I love that. Yes, this beautiful battle cry as the paladin, the fated knight, rides in to vanquish his dark foe. Because of Malik and Izo being a little bit like, whoa, taken aback by the fact that Sir Calbert is just busting all up in here, Ian, you had suggested that maybe you guys have a second to maybe get your bearings about yourselves. What would you like to do? We'll just kind of go in loose order here. We're not going to really be initiative until we kind of do the full actual initiative here in a second. So, what did you think you wanted to do since you brought it up?
Malik's going to cast invisibility on himself.
Okay.
The exact opposite
Yes.
of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, seeing that Sir Calvert is just like trudging into battle, Alex still like, I don't know what's going on. Okay, cool. So he looks at Izo and he goes, Miss Izo, and he takes a couple steps back into like where the trees are, and then it was just this weird shadow. It almost looks natural. And that's him using his invisibility. Like if you blinked or if you looked back, you'd go, I swear he was there. But it's almost like shadow kind of just engulfs, like hugs him a little bit.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes, he just blends right into the night, Izo. Is there anything you would like to do in preparation before the battle is fully joined? Now, you recognize the Obsidian as well, so you recognize exactly what Sir Calbert's riding into, so you are aware of what's going on.
She's like, okay, here's what we are going to do. Malik, oh no. And so she thinks that she is just she thinks she just wasn't paying attention and like missed him already charged down,
Okay.
and so she's just gonna like hurry up and fly down.
Excellent.
And I'm looking
excellent.
for somebody who's got maybe some like fleshy bits showing.
Some fleshy bits showing. I love that. They've all got the same relative fleshy bits showing. They're all wearing dark robes. We'll say that for the sake of argument, because fleshy bits are fun to talk about, we'll say that this figure here is their robe is a little bit shorter, so you can see like from their knee down, their fleshy legs are showing, maybe part of their arm. Their robe seems to be really small for some reason.
Is it
Also,
hooded?
it is hooded, but you can see
Okay.
their face as they turn to see Sir Calbert. You know, they heard his battle cry, so they turn to see what's going on. And as they turn, you see this person's face. So yeah, there's definitely plenty of things to take a look at and to get ready to attack fleshy bits. So yeah, we'll go ahead. We'll do initiative order then. So the cultists, yeah, they're pretty much just reacting, trying to see what's going on. Real quick, I'm just going to roll a concentration check on the lead cultist who is trying to continue the ritual, and he maintains his concentration. You see that although his eyes dart up towards Sir Calbert for a moment, the only one he seems to have noticed right now, he does continue to chant this strange language, just pulsating. It starts to get louder and louder, like his voice is amplified somehow. In Ezo, it will be your turn. So what would you like to do in initiative here?
So I would like to think that I'm the type of person who would go for the main guy in the middle, but I'm not. So especially when I'm first to act. So I think I get distracted by these really quite muscular calves that they're showing from this guy there on the left, and she's going to kind of swoop down and cast primal savagery so that her fangs get somehow extra sharp, and we're going to try to do a bite.
All right. Okay.
Just a dive and bite.
Absolutely. Yeah. You close in the distance there, and yeah, go ahead and make an attack roll if you could, please.
Okie dokie. That is a 16 plus 8, 24. To hit.
Yeah, I think definitely that'll work. Yeah. As you come down in and you pounce down on the ground, your fangs sink right into this person's big meaty calves, as you put it out. So what is the damage on that, please?
So it does 2d10 acid damage, and the total is going to be 13. So 13 acid damage on that juicy leg.
Awesome. Yes, so as you bite into the person's leg, they scream, "Ah!" as you can feel the acid flow out. Their leg sizzles and burns, but you're not worried about such things. The other cultists around, again, noticing what's going on, they're all starting to maybe look around and see what's happening. They probably weren't expecting people to come charging out in the middle of the ritual here. So with that being said, Malik, you are hidden over by the tree line still. You are invisible. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
Yeah, I would just like to move closer over to the edge here. Hopefully, is this a boulder? Is that a nice boulder?
It is a nice boulder.
Okay, I wanna kind of get some cover, whether it's half cover, hopefully at the most. But I want to stay up on this ledge right here.
Perfect. Okay.
And then
Yeah,
I guess I'll drop my invisibility since I have some type of cover.
Okay. Perfect. So were you moving stealthily or slowly, or were you just moving?
I was just moving.
Okay. I would say you still have half your movement left then because of the distance that you covered. If you wanted to move anymore, if you just want to stay there, that's fine too.
No, I'm gonna stay right here.
Okay. Yeah, so you move over to there, and as you crouch down in behind the boulder, the shadows unwrap around you. There is what sounds like a very light, very melodic, dare I say, plucking of strings that seems to kind of pass through the air for a moment, and you hear it almost like a distant song being played. You've heard this a few times before since you were changed, and so you are aware that this is the dance macabre, and it is calling to you and becoming more prominent as the battle is joined, as it were.
Yeah. My since no one's around, that song kind of just pierces in the back of his head a little bit more, and as opposed to him trying to keep it contained and controlled, no one's here, so his eyes just flicker this faint red.
Absolutely.
And he's quick blinking. He's like, "Oh, no, I'm fine. All right, cool. All right."
Yes. Your facade changes for a moment. Absolutely. So, Calvert, you are in there. All the cultists now have their attention turned to you as you stand there with your glowing sword touched by the moon. The cultists all are looking in your direction. The head cultist is still continuing the ritual, the chant, whatever it is he's saying. As the rest of them stare at you, none of them move any closer, however. The initiative is now yours.
All right. Well, Calbert is going to charge on in astride his horse. As he does so, he has his sword drawn high, and he calls out for Loun to bless and empower him to strike down these villains. So as a bonus action, I am going to cast Divine Favor on myself.
Okay.
Which will give me an extra 1d4 radiant damage on weapon attacks for the
Excellent.
next 10 rounds, which hopefully would be an entire fight. And then once I'm in range of that first cultist, I am going to go ahead and come in with an attack.
Perfect. All right, go and roll it up, sir.
All right. That is going to be not the best roll in the world, a 14 to hit.
A 14. On this guy here, as you come in and you bring the sword down, channeled with Loun's power, it does bite into the man's shoulder and racks down through him and pierces out through his back. So go ahead and roll damage.
All right, fantastic. That is going to be 8 slashing damage, and then, as I mentioned, Divine Favor is going to add on top of that. It'll roll for me. D&D Beyond is not being kind at the moment. There we go. To click in and it gave me 1 radiant damage. What a build up for 1 extra point, but hey, it's something.
1 is
and I do actually get a second attack since we are high enough level.
Go ahead.
So let me go ahead and roll that as well. The second attack is going to be a total of 20 to hit. And so that one is going to do 9 slashing damage. And an additional, again, 1 radiant.
Okay. So as the first sword hits, you bring it down again, and as you slam into him, you knock the guy straight down. He falls down to the ground in a soundless clump as he hits the ground. The energy continues to swirl above from the cultist still channeling. As you now see, it's starting to glow a little bit, starting to get a little bit bigger. So now it's actually got an effect on the map here that we can see moving about. And but that one cultist is down, however. He is slain. And to the top, the cultists, because the lead cultist, he's still going to try to continue. I'm going to roll real quick for him. Okay, his concentration remains still. He continues to chant. However, he does move slightly. He is going to step a little bit away back from the altar over to stand next to this other gentleman who has his back to the wall here. And that gentleman is going to step in front of him. And another one steps in. And so it's like the two of them are standing in front of him to guard him. You see that they pull some very wicked looking serpentine style daggers, which have a wavy blade that almost resembles a snake. And there is the one that is nearest to you, Izo. He is going to actually, just out of reactionary, he is going to try to just kind of shove you and push you down onto the ground. He's just reacting because you're biting into his leg. So to hit, it's going to just be it's a pretty high roll, unfortunately, Izo, but that's okay. I think you'll be all right. It's going to be a 21 to hit. And so he's going to do...
That's going to hit.
Mm-hmm. He's just going to do, plus his strength, 4 points of damage, as just bludgeoning damage, as he pretty much just grabs you and just shoves you down onto the ground really hard.
This is the same guy I just bit, right?
It is, yes. Yep.
I think just because I'm mad about that, I would hellish rebuke.
Oh, alrighty.
Absolutely, you would.
Absolutely, yeah. So as you fall prone down onto the ground, there is fire that just burns up out of you, and it slams out and engulfs into the guy. He has to make a save, correct?
Dex, yeah.
Dexterity save. Okay.
He has to be to 14.
He does not. He rolls a 6. So,
Ooh. Okay.
yeah, so the flames just blast out, lick up across his body, burn away part of his robe. What is the damage on that?
The damage is going to be 2d10, and it is 8.
Brutal.
So 8 fire damage.
Okay. And what kind of color does that fire have, Katie? We'll let you decide what sort of magical color that has.
Well, it sort of starts to come out as like a normal orangey red fire color, but then it sort of like mingles with the acid from his leg bite, and then it's just green, like bright green.
Nice. And as the bright green fire licks across his body, he just starts flailing his arms, waving around. He actually stumbles backwards and slams into the altar and falls down on the ground. He's trying to do the whole stop, drop, and roll maneuver. He's on the ground trying to put himself out, and he's not having very much luck. He's pretty much on fire over by the altar over here. So with that being said, you technically speaking, Izo, would have an attack of opportunity if you wanted to take it as he flailed back away from you. It will be a disadvantage because you are prone if you wish to take it.
Oh, I'm prone because
She used her reaction for the rebuke. That is correct.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So I can't
That is
do that.
correct. So never mind.
But it will be my turn soon, and
It will be. It will be. Yes, right. Very good. All right, so this other cultist who is located over here, he is actually going to, seeing what you have just done, Calvert, he gestures, and as he says his own sort of foul, infernal language, he gestures, and as he pulls his hand back, there seems to be almost like a strange, dull green energy that he pulls out, almost like a lattice work, a cat's cradle, as it were, that pulls between his fingers, and then he snaps it, and it shoots towards you as he casts a spell. Rolling to hit you with the spell here. Oh, that's the wrong stat block. Excuse me here. It's going to be 22 to hit. These guys are rolling pretty good. So he is going to hit you, and it's going to be not very much. It's just an acid arrow. You're going to take 6 points of acid damage as the lattice work, as it snaps. It almost is like there is an arrow that forms in the air, an acid just arc that flies forward, slams into your armor, sizzles part of it away. It doesn't degrade the armor or anything, but definitely you can tell he hits you.
Yeah.
That is it for the cultist's turn. So Izo, it is your turn. Yes, indeed.
Oh,
you're
sorry.
muted real
So I
quick.
think
That's
now
okay.
that I'm on the ground, I'm looking up at the cultist in the middle now who's chanting, correct?
Mhm. Yes, that gentleman is now over. Well, gentleman is probably a loose term here, but that gentleman who is still chanting is this guy in the back over here.
Okay, so since the person who is on fire is a little bit distracted and rolled away from me, I'm actually gonna cast Thick Throat on the guy chanting to hopefully prevent him from being able to say anything.
Oh, interesting.
If it works, it will make his throat swell up so that he can't do the verbal component of his spell.
Excellent.
And he
I'm
has
not
to
familiar
do-
with this spell, so what does he have to do with this?
Dex save, DC 16.
Dex save DC 13.
16 this time.
Oh, 16, excuse me. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's a spell that I wrote, and that's the first time anyone's ever used it.
Oh, wow.
I saw it today. And first of all, I was like, hey, like it's just got a silly name. And then I was like, this
Wow.
is perfect. This is totally something my character would want to use. And then
Yeah,
You guys are busting out some
That's
homebrew
awesome.
stuff. I love it. All right, cool. All right.
it was in there, so I took it.
So he fails with an 11 for the save. So how much damage is that?
Okay, let me see.
Sure.
It says it His throat begins to swell, preventing him from speaking. This breaks any spell of concentration as well as prevents him from casting any spell that has a verbal component. So no damage.
Okay.
On a failed save, the creature is consumed with fear for 1 round
Oh wow.
and has
Okay.
disadvantage on their next attack.
Oh wow.
Oh my god, this is a really powerful spell.
Yeah, that's gross. That's gross.
Yeah, it's again.
What level is that? I love. What level is that?
Let me find it on my actual list. Where is it?
That's okay. That's all right. We'll move.
First level.
We'll talk. First level. Wow. Okay. We will. We'll talk. Yeah. New to me. Fun stuff. Okay. So yeah. Suddenly, as it hits him, it kind of the air reaches down and actually clutches at the throat of this guy, and as it does so, his words are suddenly cut off. The purplish energy is still there in the air. This strange swirl, this vortex type of effect is still there, but it does actually kind of shimmer and flicker for a moment like it's about to go away. It would seem that even though his concentration is broken, he's not able to continue to say anything else to keep the spell going. It's probably going to take a little bit of time for it to go away because it is a ritual type of effect. So with that being said, that is what happens with that. Do you want to move at all, or do you want to stay right there where you're at?
I'm gonna stay here to keep an eye on Burning Man, and I'll probably try to finish him next time.
Okay. Do you want to use half your movement to stand, or you want to just...
Oh, yes, I do want to get up. That's right.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
So you do get to your feet after you see that the head cultist has been disrupted. You do slowly get to your feet and look around, kind of take judgment of everything that's going on. And Malik, it will be your turn. You see all this going on, and you see that, definitely there is some battle going on down there. What do you want to do, sir?
I definitely want to keep my distance still, but what I'm going to do... So... The guy that's in front of the portal closest to Izo, that's the one that's on fire, yes?
Yes, this gentleman here?
Yes.
He is the one on fire, yes.
Okay, and these two are virtually untouched. I'm going to cast Chill Touch on the cultist that's closest. Here, hold on. This guy, right there, yeah. I'm gonna cast Chill Touch on this one, on that gentleman.
Okay.
So, yeah, beautiful. That is a 17 to hit.
Yep. The Chill Touch. There is, as you, without realizing you do it, you kind of have slung your guitar around to the front of you, and you've kind of strummed something on it, and as it does so, you see that there is a skeletal hand that actually reaches up out of the ground in front of this guy and rakes down the front of his chest.
Beautiful, and he takes 12 points of damage.
12. Okay.
With that, I'm going to come down from the ledge. Is this far? Like the drop? Is the drop far? Could
the drop from the top of where you are down to like where Izo is 10 feet.
Yeah. Okay. Then yeah, I'm just gonna move myself right here to this Izo.
Yep.
Beautiful.
You move forward and you just, you slide down the side of the embankment there and you land next to Izo. Izo, there's a movement out of the corner of your eye that you catch for a moment, and as you glance over to it expecting for an attack to come, you do see it's Malik, your new companion here, as he does settle in next to you. You see now he's holding some sort of loot or something. It's got a strange shape to it. You've never seen one like it before, but now he's holding it and he's looking very determined. And in that moment, it's going to be Calbert's turn.
All right. Calbert is happy to try and do a rinse and repeat on what just happened, especially given that he just got, splashed with some acid.
Yes.
So he definitely spurs his horse up to here and is going to levy a couple of attacks at that member of the Obsidian right there.
Perfect. Yes.
So first one, I'll roll both my attacks this time, now that I remember I have to.
Nice.
So the first one is going to be a 26 to hit,
No,
and
that'll
the
miss.
second one is a 22.
Yep. Yeah,
if
you
it
bring.
meets, it beats.
Yeah, that's it. You bring both of these sword swings down in two powerful strikes, just like before. You are channeling the rage and the fury of knowing what these people have done in the past, and you bring that justice down upon them. What is the damage,
Absolutely.
please?
He is going to take 12 and then 13 slashing.
Ooh.
And in addition to that, 2 and then 1 radiant.
Oh.
Lound does what he can, okay? He's
every little bit
been chained
helps,
away for how long at this point? I mean,
That's it. Every little bit helps. So you slash down into him, the radiant energy pulsing through this guy, and you can tell that this guy is made of a little bit stronger stuff than the other guy that you cut down, because he doesn't drop quite yet. But you can definitely tell that was not a blow he was expecting or that he enjoyed. So he is actually going to retaliate. Much to your surprise, you see that he gestures again in a different manner, and then there is light that kind of just goes around his body for a moment, and you can see that it then kind of fades into him. He's got a very slight reddish glow, but nothing that's overt. Because you are a paladin, you use divine spells, you're not quite sure what he did. But that's what he does. The one that is on fire is going to make a check real quick. And with a natural 1, he does not put himself out. He's going to take an additional, if you could please, Katie, roll 1d6 for me. Oh, nice. Okay. So then he is actually, as he does not get himself out, the fire is enough to finish him off. So his
I'm getting nervous that we're all having these really good rolls. This is not going to be good.
Oh, yes. That's it. This is what it is. I'm just biding my time. So you guys use them all up. No. No, you guys are doing great. I love it. So he is expired. He's no longer in the fight, this gentleman here. The other two cultists that are standing there, so is this guy here, is gone. The other two that are here, they actually work in unison. You see that one of them, the one who is here on the left, he gestures in a different way, and as he does, you actually see that he puts his hand up, and as he does, he brings it down into a fist. As he does, there is suddenly a sword that emulates and comes into existence directly in front of you, Malik, and as it does, it is going to swipe at you with an attack roll of 18 to hit.
Silvery barbs.
Oh, okay. Which gives it disadvantage?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
yeah, pretty much. And then I'll give Miss Izo the advantage.
Okay. So instead of an 18, it is going to be a 8. So as it comes in, it's swinging right towards your face. And again, on instinct, you hear that music playing, and it's almost like that music is a jazzy tune. And what do we do with jazz? Of course, we improvise, we move along with it. And as you hear that song, your eyes dart towards the man, and as they dart, the spiritual weapon that swipes towards your face, as it's about to make contact, it almost dissolves for a second, passes through your head, and comes out the other way, not making any contact at all. And Izo, you feel emboldened somehow. There was something that
If I
rippled.
could.
Oh yeah, please go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, add to it. Yes.
I think when it comes past, instinctually Malik just kind of shifts to the side, and he's closer to Izo, and I think his sudden movement, your guys' face meets, and he goes, "I'm actually having a lot of fun," and then he like boops your forehead, and then you feel emboldened, like he's
There we go. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm having a lot of fun. This is great.
Yes. It almost feels like that feeling when a wave hits you when you're walking through the water, Izo. It's like he took whatever that energy was, it passed through him, and he released it into your forehead. Doesn't hurt or anything. It just makes you feel better, ready to go. So that's what that guy does. So now there's a spiritual weapon dancing in the air around you guys. excuse me, the other one who was standing next to him, who was in front of the leader guy, he actually pulls out a hand crossbow from the back of his robes, and he is going to level it at you, Izo. And he is going to attack with a 16. Okay.
Yeah, that hits. I forgot to put on any armor, so my AC is 13.
Oh no! Oh no!
It's okay.
Okay.
I feel like it works with my character. So
Okay. Well, we can address that for next time.
yeah.
Yeah. So
I'll get some.
yeah. So it hits you in the shoulder. There's a stinging pain in your shoulder for a moment as you are going to take. Oh, that's the wrong die. You're not going to do a D12. That'd be crazy. Oh, you do take max damage, however. You're going to take 7 points of piercing damage from that blast to your shoulder. There is a crossbow bolt, just a short little bolt that's sticking out of your shoulder, and your arm goes numb for a second from the pain of that. The head cultist in the back, he is stumbling through the book. He looks up, and as he sees what's going on, he does something that surprises the three of you. He says, "This is not how it is supposed to be tonight. You three will pay for interrupting the tyrant's work." And then he is going to take the book, and he actually holds it in front of him, and he flips to a different page. And as he does, you see the book starts to glow, almost like there was a light source emanating out of it, as he starts to say something else in that language. The effect above you guys in the air is now about half the size as it was. It's definitely dissolving and going away. It doesn't seem to have any effect with what he's saying now, but you can see that there is energy that is slowly starting to build around himself and the cultists who remain, like he is doing something. With that being said, it is going to be that one guy in front of you has to attack still, doesn't he, Calvert?
He did some sort of glowy thing.
Oh, that's right.
He's like started. He started glowing. I don't know what it is.
Thank you guys for keeping me honest, because I'm not that guy who's adversarial, who's trying to kill you all. So thank you for keeping me honest with that. So he doesn't do anything because he casted a spell on himself. So that's what happens with that. So now it is going to be your turn, Izo. Crossbow bolt in your shoulder. Ouchie wouchie. That really hurt. Were you concentrating on that effect to have it be so the cultists couldn't talk?
No. No.
I mean, does it require concentration is what I'm asking.
No.
Okay.
So I think that hurt, but I just got this boop. So I'm like,
okay.
And I just pull it out and throw it down. And I don't normally use my warlock spells because they're new and I'm not used to it. And Hellish Rebuke only happened because I got knocked down.
Yeah.
But now it's like I'm hearing this voice. It's like telling me to do it. And I'm like, should I do it? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it. So I'm gonna Eldritch Blast the main guy who I just thick throated.
Okay.
And I have advantage, right?
Yeah. The advantage that you get on the attack roll is for any attack. Yeah. So you can use it on an Eldritch Blast.
Okay. My first roll is a 24.
Okay.
And the second one is lower. Okay. I'm getting really nervous about all these good rolls. I really am.
A 24 will do it, so.
I know. Okay, so I just wanted to see if I would get a natural 20. So then... That's a 9 on the damage die. So 9 damage.
Okay. What I'm going to do, because of the throat thing that you have done, is I'm going to give him disadvantage on his concentration check to try to finish the ritual spell type of effect that he's doing now. It's basically just a spell that takes a full round. And normally with the throat effect, he wouldn't be able to cast it at all. But he's got a special ability going on, which we could talk about in a second. But so he's going to do that with disadvantage. So for the concentration, he does still pass. He's going to roll a 16, which is more than the damage he took, or 10. So he is okay. And then it is going to be...
We're high enough level that Eldritch Blast gets a second blast, doesn't it?
I don't know because I took a few levels Like,
Yeah, she's not
So I
full
only-
warlock. Yeah.
I
Cantrips
only
go
have
off of your
3.
character level, though.
Oh,
Oh.
I'm
I
pretty
don't know,
sure,
doesn't
if I
say.
remember that right, I'm pretty sure
Yeah, go
cantrips
ahead.
go off character.
yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. So you would
Okay.
actually have 2 bolts. So yeah.
Oh my goodness! But I still have
So-
to roll the attack again, right?
Yeah, you still roll an attack. You don't get advantage on that because it's just on the one
On the
attack.
second one.
But yeah, you still roll an attack roll. If it hits, it still does
Ooh,
the same
The
damage.
second one was only a 10, so probably
Okay.
not.
Yeah, so
probably a
this
miss.
one does go wide, but that's okay. It's good to know. Thank you. I wasn't even thinking about that, Brian. So I'm glad you said that. Sorry,
I think
guys.
probably the voice I'm hearing was like, "Do it again," and I'm like, "Okay,"
Yeah,
but
right.
I messed up the second time.
Absolutely, yes. Okay, yeah. So yeah, a second one goes off, and because you're kind of a bit panicked and you weren't ready for it, it does go wide.
Mhm.
And yes, so did you want to move at all, or are you all set right there?
So, how many other living cultists are there?
Absolutely. Sure. You have the main guys back here. There are the 2 in front of him, and then there is this guy over here by Calvert, who you can't quite see perfectly, but you know he's over there because you can see Calvert's dealing with him.
Okay, I think I want to just like fly up because I'm not sure. I want to just get up so I can
Okay.
decide what I want to do next.
Sure. What is your flying speed?
30.
Okay. So yeah, you just push off the ground and bolt straight up into the air, and you look down. You're about 30 feet in the air. You look down and survey everything that's going on. You can see everybody now, all these different positions. You can definitely tell that they're about half their force, a little bit more, but you guys seem to be okay so far. And Malik, you're up.
Beautiful. So I got this spiritual weapon thing floating behind me, right?
Yeah, it's right in front of you. Yep.
Perfect.
Basically,
And-
it's a sword that's kind of made out of this weird, funky looking magic that's just kind of dancing around, trying to get ready to swipe at you again.
Gotcha.
Because Kevin
Can I
forgot to
just
have it attack you on the cultist's turn. So hey, bully for you.
Hey, I'll take any boon. Can
Right?
Can I discern what's on the cultists? What are they wearing?
They're
It's a
wearing
cloak and
Yeah, they're wearing robes, like full robes, cloak with a hood. Just your typical kind of like, just regular robes with a hood, long garb. You don't see much
Okay.
skin. You can see their faces are revealed. Just dark.
rings, bracelets, anything like that.
Yeah, there's
I have an
probably stuff that
affinity
would
for
be
jewelry.
like for a normal person. Nothing that's going to be that stands out super out of the ordinary. But I mean, you could maybe catch a glimpse of stuff like that. Maybe one of them has a wedding ring on, or something of
Yeah.
this nature.
Would one of the twins have that wedding ring on?
Yeah. Well,
This one, that guy?
yeah. Let me roll some.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy who was casting the spell, the guy who casted that sword thing, the guy who made the sword. He does.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he's got 2 rings on one of his hands.
Beautiful. Malik's gonna yell out to him and go, it's a nice ring you have there. I think I could make it better, and I'm gonna cast heat metal on that ring at
Okay.
4th level.
At 4th level.
At 4th level.
Whew,
Yeah.
Boy. Okay. Okay.
That's a hot ring.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Hot toddy. All right. He's got to make a save, correct?
I'm looking at that right now. It's concentration. It's been a minute since I've used that one, but
Yeah. This is what you use it for, though, folks.
Constitution. Yeah.
That's what I figured.
Yeah.
Okay. So, on a Constitution check for against the effect of the heat metal, he is going to get a 8. These guys are not rolling good on their saves. I'm going to be honest.
DC
He rolled
14.
5. What's that?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So the DC was 14.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Big time fail.
Perfect. So he's going to take the brunt of 4d8 damage.
Ooh.
So let's see here.
I'll have him roll his Constitution check to maintain his concentration. Oh no, spiritual weapon's not concentration, is it? Hang on a second.
Nope, it is not.
No, it's not.
He's going to take 15 points of damage.
15.
15. Yes.
Okay. I just said 50. I was like, yikes.
Right. That'd be
Okay.
great.
Yes, it would. Yeah, so you see as he's kind of just looking at you, he glances for a second towards his hand, and then you see it gets that red, hot, orangey color that it gets from being super hot inside a fire, and he starts shaking his hand, and he's trying to grab and pull at it, trying to get it off of
Yeah.
himself.
Is that uncomfortable? It's what happens when you wear fake jewelry and then just divert my attention elsewhere.
Nice. Absolutely. Calbert, what do you want to do, sir?
All right. I mean, I don't know exactly what this guy just did that made himself all glowy. But I know roughly what it was, and that's some vile dark magic. So we're gonna try and cut him down.
Okay.
All right. First swing of the greatsword. Oh, there it is. It's turning around. That's a natural 1. So
no.
that'll be an absolute miss.
Yes.
And let's try the second one. All right, that is going to be a 21 to hit.
Okay. So this time, as you bring the sword down, it is going to swipe through him, but it seems to be deflected off of the magical effect he made on himself. There's a flash where the sword would connect, and it glances away. You manage to maintain your grip so your sword doesn't fly out of your hand, and you reverse it and swipe back up through. This time, it does get through the magical energy and bites deep into him. What is the damage on that, please?
All right, that is going to be 11 slashing damage.
Okay. And as it cuts up through him,
and
he
4
actually...
radiant.
And 4 radiant? Well, that's enough then.
Getting some of that radiant up there.
Yeah, so as it carves up through him, he just kind of, with a spin, he spirals down to the ground, also slain.
All right, and then having finished that, Calbert is going to charge right up to the next group.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Getting all up in there. I love it. All right, so then the head cultist, he is going to, as you can go up, he's going to roll something real quick. Okay. Sorry, give me one sec. Alrighty, so as you approach, you see that whatever is going on with this book, there's that flash that kind of, and it finishes. It seems to be completed whatever ritual it was. And then as he looks up, his eyes are glowing a deep, vibrant, glowing like a red type color as he looks up towards you. And he gets a wicked grin. Like he is pleased that you are this close. And as that happens, you see that the other 2 cultists who remain in front of him, they stop for just a brief moment, and then the 2 of them look up in unison and look towards you, and their eyes have a similar red glow, not as deep as his. And then you see the book just kind of burns away, and the pages that he has it open to just burn right out of the book. And that is what all 3 of them are going to do. The spiritual weapon, however, because I'm going to remember it this time, is going to attack you, Malik. Okay, that is a 19 on the die, plus it's going to hit. Spiritual weapon. Let me get back over to it. I've got so many tabs open here. So many tabs. Okay, you are going to take 9 points of slashing damage. I'm sorry, force damage, excuse me.
Oh, force, okay.
Yeah, it's force damage for spiritual weapons. Sorry about that. As it hacks into you again. And that is it for the cultists for this round. So then it's going to be Izo. Izo, you're up in the air. Just kind of looking down at everybody for a second. What would you like to do from this height?
I am. Is there? So the spiritual weapon just hit Malik, but is there a cultist next to him?
No, the only cultists that remain are the 3 that are in a cluster right next to Sir Calvert.
Okay.
3 guys here.
So, as a bonus action, I'm gonna healing word Malik because I just saw that he got that big boo boo, and I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that at 2nd level.
Okay.
So he's gonna get 10 points of healing.
Oh, I'm all the way back. Yeah,
beautiful.
And
thank you for that.
You're welcome. And then I'm gonna cast Ray of Sickness on the main bad guy.
Okay. Whacking my microphone here. Okay.
So it's gonna be, oh no, a natural 1.
Oh no,
I knew it was gonna happen.
that's it.
my
Everybody's luck
my
is
reign
turning
of
around
terror is
right
over.
now.
Yes.
Yes, the ray goes out, and because you're splitting your attention, it's not enough to be aimed true enough. It just
Mhm.
kind of arcs, and then you see Calvert. You see it just kind of go past your face. I mean, it's not near you or anything. You just see the magic go by from not working properly. So Malik, it is going to be your turn. Yeah, you feel better. You are muted currently.
Very much so muted. Probably good. I said a swear, naughty word.
Oh,
Oh, spicy. I'm healed, but I'm also a little annoyed. This
Sure.
this spiritual weapon's kind of pissing me off. So I know this is probably going to break my concentration for the heat metal, which sucks because an additional 48 would have been awesome. But I don't want that thing to hit me again. So I'm going to look at it, and then I'm going to look back at the cultist, and I'm going to go, let's get rid of this here. And then I'm going to spin the beads on one of my bracelets on my personal jewelry, and I'm going to dispel magic at third level.
Okay. Third level, you said. Okay. So that is the same spell level. So what I need to do is we need to make a check, correct?
Any spell of third level or lower on the target ends.
Oh,
So
that's
if
it.
it
Just
meets
does
or
that?
lower, yeah.
Nice. Okay. So awesome. So yeah, as you play with the beads, there is again that sound, that jazzy sound. It starts to pick up pace a little bit, and you almost feel your heart pace and rhythm to it as it catches up to it, and you can feel that syncopation as it smacks through the night and bumps into this guy. You can see that his concentration is disrupted, and the spell just goes away. All three of them, you notice the glowing of their eyes just kind of is gone. The two that are in front are looking, and the one who had the spiritual weapon is just kind of looking at you. He's got a wide eye look on his face. The head cultist looks to everybody, and he just looks like he is just renewed to try to maybe do something else against you all, but he's a bit out of sorts for now.
In addition to that, because the great voice in the sky has reminded me, which I appreciate. Thank you, great voice. The cultist that I'm having this interaction with, he never tried to take off his ring, did he? He's still kind of doing what he's doing. He takes additional 48 damage from the heat metal.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Okay, cool. I've rolled 3 times and I'm up to 18. Do I need to keep going?
No, if you want to roll just to see what you got, that's fine. But no, that's enough.
Okay. 23 in total, 23 points of damage.
And yes, as he was trying to get the ring off last round. Now he's clutching his hand as the spiritual weapon goes away, and he drops to his knees. He looks up at you. He gets a wide eye. Who are you? He yells out, and the flame just bursts across his hand, burns away the rest of his robes. He just falls back, clutching at his hand, and he slams down onto the ground. He twitches once or twice and then goes still.
Wouldn't you like to know, good sir?
Yeah, good stuff, you guys. Calbert, you're up, sir.
All right, I am up, and I am directly next to the apparent leader of these cultists.
That is true. That's very true.
So he is about to get some attacks his way. I'm sorry that I'm not doing more like different magic stuff every round. I'm the marshal this time.
Hey.
I gotta stick where it's at for me.
You're good, buddy.
Someone's got to smack people around.
That's
Yeah,
it.
you know.
No, you're good. You're good.
Maybe I could do some special smacking. I am definitely doing some special smacking. I just got a natural 20 on the attack roll.
Oh, yeah. Okay, this is against the head guy, you said, correct?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
And that means that I am going to do a couple of things. So first off, I am going to be obviously hitting with my greatsword. I am gonna go ahead and declare a smite on that because I
Sure,
got
yep.
the crit.
Yeah, buddy.
So we will use. We'll go ahead and use. I think just a first level spell slot for that should be fine.
Yeah, I think
Because we're gonna get the bonus anyway. So if I can find where that is on my sheet, I don't know that I'm seeing it on my sheet, but that's okay. So let me go ahead and roll the damage
smiting?
for that.
The damage is just are you looking for the damage or?
Well, first let me get the slashing damage out.
Okay, yeah.
So that's gonna be 17 slashing damage.
That's after it gets critted. That's after the double.
Yeah, that's with the double damage dice.
Perfect.
For the crit.
Okay.
And then let me see if I can find. There's somewhere. I thought I saw somewhere that I could click to do my smite.
Yeah,
all right,
it's 2d8 for smite.
Yeah,
damage.
well, fortunately, my Sacred Flame cantrip does the same amount of damage, so I'll just roll that a couple of times.
Oh, that works too. Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, and that is going to be 28 radiant damage on top of that.
Holy crap. Okay, so as this head
Did we get him?
As the head cultist is looking really kind of confused, really worried, doesn't sure what to go on, he looks up and his eyes meet yours, Sir Calbert. And in this moment, you see that red light flicker away, as I mentioned. And as you bring the sword down, you feel the strength of Laun come through your arm, guided through your greatsword. And as you swipe down across the this foe, the hood that he's wearing on his robe goes limp as his head spirals off of his body and slams up against the wall behind him and trickles down and lands at his feet. There was just the briefest of moments before his body slumps to his knees and then falls forward. So he's dead.
And with that, Calbert whips his sword around to point at the last standing cultist. But he does leave it just leveled at that one's face, and he glowers down at him and says, "You may yield."
Make an intimidation check at advantage, sir.
Ooh, all right.
I'm gonna give Bardic for that. take that D8.
All right, well, that's a 27 before the D8. I can throw a D8 on top of there maybe in a moment here, but I feel like that hopefully does it.
As the last remnants of that purplish energy in the air dissipates and fades away into nothing, it just kind of pops and fades away. And as it does so, Izo, you feel up in the air, there is something that kind of feels a bit strange on you. It's almost like that feeling you have when one of your limbs falls asleep, you know, that pin prickly kind of feeling, but it's over your whole body. But it's not enough to be super painful, but you feel something odd for a moment, like a wave through you as that light disappears. And as that light disappears, you see the gentleman, the last cultist. He had that hand crossbow, as I mentioned. He looks around to all of you and he just kind of throws it down at his feet, puts his hands up. No, please have mercy on me. As he looks to all of you.
Well, I think we did good here. Well, I guess we should talk to this person. See what
I think
the
we
goings
should
on is.
keep him. He can answer some questions.
Answering
Albert, grab his
questions
collar
is,
piece.
answering questions is the one reason that he is still standing alive. Yes.
Yes.
Nice. And Calbert, you take the back of your sword and just crack the guy in the temple, and all goes black for him. And all will go black for us because, hey, folks, let's take a quick break. We had a nice epic battle. We got our group together. And so let's take a quick break. Let's everybody just kind of step back out of the moment for a little bit, take a breather because combat is over. Let's just take a quick respite. Let's all go and let's refresh our drinks. Let's use the restrooms if we need to. But please come on back, players. Oh, I hope you'll come on back. And of course, people at home, please come on back as well because there's more interesting stuff to be had here in the Eternal Night. So we'll see you in about 5 minutes and we'll continue the story. Thank you so much, everybody. Welcome back, one and all. Here we are, part 2 of our first episode of this newest arc, Spheres of Influence. As you can see, we got a little bit of some different stuff going on. 3 adventurers with very different viewpoints, very different approaches. But hey, that's what we like to see. But if you are just now joining us after the break here, thank you and welcome. Just a quick recap of what's happened so far. We have 3, like I said, adventurers with very different pasts, one of which is Sir Calbert, a knight of Ouin, who is a fated knight of Laun, the god of the sun, who is on a journey to try to vanquish some evil. He has met with Malik, a strange bard wearing bizarre clothing and having a strange manner about him. And the two of them have met a third person, an Urakian bat person, Izo, who is on the journey as well. They have just come in conflict with the Obsidian, a cult that worships the Tyrant, a dark being who was once a man of flesh and blood, who has now passed into obscurity and legend. And they took one of these men hostage. So we're going to pick right back up. I will ask you all 3 first, before we pick back up where I was about to say, is there anything you all wanted to do in the interim between when that gentleman wakes up or not, or you just want to pick right up with interrogating? Is there anything you want to do first? I don't want to step over you guys.
The book, is that sitting around?
The book that the head cultist had. Yeah, you actually look around. You do find that book. It is an older tome. You can tell that it's written in the common tongue, but it's written with the way the verbiage is, the way that the prose is positioned on the page. It's a little odd. It's hard to really fully describe, but it's written in like an older style of writing. Certain words might be, have extra letters, or the letters might be slightly different from what you're used to. But it is still there, still intact. The specific section that the cultist guy had it open to, those pages are burned away. You can see the singed remnants where they are attached to the spine still. But other than that, the book seems to be intact. I will say that, Sir Calbert, you recognize this book. This is the book that was stolen from the duchy specifically. One of the things that you were trying to locate that the cultists who had attacked there had taken. But you don't see the artifacts that they took. So that leads a little bit to be questioned. Is there anything else you guys want to do besides find the book?
I mean, our captive is definitely like bound in some way, right? Like we're not just letting him wake up and run off if he wants.
Right. No, you guys take him, bind him up. If you want to stay here in the ruins, there's like I said, there's kind of walls around the outsides. It's in a recess. It looks like probably at one point, you can tell now that you have had time to look around and get a better glimpse of the area, that there probably was once a keep here, and where you guys are now, this lower level was probably a cellar or a basement of some sort that has, it's all just kind of fallen away to the weather, away to nature. So what you have specifically now is just remnants, the different bricks and stonework that poke up out of the natural hewn ground here. I will say, Izo, when you were at the keep with the rest of the keepers, that's interesting. Keep and keepers. You did notice
that's why we chose it.
Oh, there we go. I love it. It all comes together. You do know that, it was a cellar. The keep, when you were here, before the light that brought you into this area to meet these two guys, was intact. So that's a little strange to you, but...
Did I know of anything in the cellar, like a secret compartment or a hole or under the floorboards or something, anything that I would want to look for in this destroyed part of the cellar?
Not particularly. The cellar itself is like an undercroft, I guess you could say, is probably a better term for it. That would be the secret area that has now been exposed. So that would be, just knowing of it in general would be enough to know that that's the secrets that the keep held.
Okay. I think while we're waiting for this person to wake back up, I would want to look through the robes of the main chanter guy just to see if there's anything else there that we could use to more information before we interrogate this person.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and make a perception check, please.
40. 18.
18? Okay. As you look around through his robes, the head cultist you see, besides having a small pouch on his side that has strange herbs and effects in it, things that probably would be like a spell component pouch. Kind of strange because you could tell by the kind of magic he was using was divine in nature. He wouldn't really need something as in depth as what he has here. Besides that, you see he has a small coin purse that has 50 gold pieces in it and some other some other random coinage as well. A couple copper, a couple silver. All in all, it's going to equal out to be 50 gold worth of coinage if you put it all together, I guess you could say. And he does have one of these daggers like the other cultists had, but he didn't draw it for whatever reason. Other than that, he doesn't have anything.
Okay, I'll take the pouch and the dagger just in case I need it for some reason, and then I'll just give his body a little kick, and then I'll go over to the guy we have tied up.
Okay, all right then. Anything else you guys wanted to do?
I'm thumbing through this book, kind of. I'm trying to decide on if the papers that were burned out were they magically burned.
Make an Arcana check as you look through the book, please.
Absolutely. Oh, come on. 16.
16. It looks like they definitely were burned away. Magical or not, it would probably look the same to you. You're not entirely sure with that roll, but you definitely can tell that they were burned away. It would stand to reason that it was burned away.
I want to grab my I don't know, I might burn the rest of the book if I do that. Okay, well, I'd like to close the book, just kind of look around at everybody, see if if they're paying attention. If they're not, I want to cast Mending to see if that does anything.
Interesting. Okay. Mending does a certain amount of effect only, correct? So specifically, you're trying to bring the pages back, or?
Yeah, because I would assume if they're burnt out, there's still remnants of it in the book. Be as big as little, I'm taking a chance here.
Okay. So you cast Mending, and as you feel the magic go across you, again, there is a sound of almost like there is a secondary guitar player in the vicinity, almost like they are playing some sort of slow, just that vamping type of music that you have between songs when you're doing a show. They're just kind of playing that along, and you hear that, and it matches the cadence of your speaking as you cast the spell. You feel the magic flow through you into the book, and when you open it back up, those pages are not intact. They're not restored at all.
Damn. Damn. Real upset about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Is our friend awake? Is he? What's going on?
It's right around this time that you do see, I would assume, Sir Calbert, you're probably the one who's standing next to the gentleman who was knocked out. You see him start to stir,
Yeah, Calbert during this time has been sort of knelt there directly next to the prisoner, and he's been sort of loosely clutching the blade of his sword and pressing his forehead against it, and praying to Loun for the strength and wisdom to do what must be done when this man wakes up.
Absolutely.
I smack him. not Sir Calbert. The guy.
I was gonna say Calbert or the guy.
While everyone's noticing this very internal meditative praying moment, which should be respected in all rights. Malik, if the camera was on Sir Calbert and he's kneeling and he's praying, you see Malik's legs walk by Calbert and go, "Hey, wake up!" He just like slaps him real hard.
And on cue, Calbert just immediately stands up and enters business mode.
Absolutely. Iza, you were thinking about the fact that the keep is now in ruins, and so the slap of Malik slapping this prisoner jars you out of that, and you can see Sir Calbert stands up at the ready. His sword is in hand, not in the threatening posture, as he has it to be officiant. And as the two of them look down at the prisoner, he just kind of, oh, and he realizes he's tied up, and he looks up. What is it you're gonna do to me?
Shh. All right. So I'm gonna give you the same option that my dad gave me before I got in trouble. We can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way. Please pick the hard way.
You can die, you insolent swine, and he spits in your shoes. Your
I smack him again, and I go.
Patent-leather shoes.
I'm
Smack
like,
him
you
again.
do not know how much these cost. I smack him again. That's very disrespectful. You're choosing the hard way.
Are you trying to like hurt him, or are you just
No.
doing enough to just kind of prove a point?
To prove a point.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just say he takes 1 point of damage then, just to prove a point home here. And he goes, ugh, and then you see as he looks back, there's blood that dribbles down on his lip that's busted now. Do your worst. I will not betray the order.
Listen, it's lovely, lovely bat lady over here. I'm pretty sure would love to take another bite out of somebody. And this very tall, gallant gentleman is holding a sword. And you, my friend, are tied. So I don't think you want us to do our worst. But if you'd like, and he steps back and he looks at Sir Calvert and goes,
I think I need to explain something to you, sir. Once upon a time, in a situation like this where you had done wrong, you would have at least been granted the light and mercy of Laun shining down upon these affairs. But the man that you profess to worship took all that away. And there is no light, and there is no mercy. So I suggest that you begin explaining exactly what it is that you are attempting to do here before I begin to show you all of the myriad ways that exist within, what was it you said, Malik? The hard way?
yeah, you tell him, Cal. Myriad.
The cultist looks from you, Calbert, over to Malik. And he looks back to you. Go ahead and make an intimidation check, please. I'll give you advantage because this guy's been roughed up a little bit.
All right.
Actually, it would be just a straight roll because it would be advantage from that, but it would be a disadvantage because he is conditioned to not tell you anything. So it's just a straight roll.
Malik taps you on the back and he goes, come on, man, get him, Bardic.
I was going to say a little bit of Bardic inspiration again would be lovely, especially since it didn't really matter earlier. That would be really handy. That's going to be a 16 total then.
Okay. The man, like I said, he looks back to the both of you, and then he looks at you. I recognize your tabard. Your god is fallen. You and your entire order are fated to do the same. The Obsidian will not be stopped. The tyrant will return to this land. This is the year of his reclamation of this place. Nier will feel the full grasp of his power. There is nothing you can do to stop it, you fool. And he spits his blood right in your face.
At about that point, that's when Calbert reels back and clocks him one, and he is doing it to hurt.
Okay. Go and roll.
Wait. Can I try to stop him from doing this?
From punching you?
Mm-hmm.
How would you like to do that?
I would like to, well, I don't want him to hurt me, but I want to kind of get in his way with my I'm trying to look charming and say like good cop, bad cop kind of thing. And I'm going to do like a wink at him so that he doesn't think I'm trying to, hurt him or anything like that. So wait, boys. No, I think he's kind of cute. Let me talk to him first.
Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, Calbert sees Izo like step in. He's got the fist cocked up, and he stands up, and instead of striking the prisoner, he slams it against the wall. And as he does so, he lets out a curse in the Ued language, and I'm going to use that as cover for the verbal component as I cast Thaumaturgy and make like the entire area shake like a small earthquake happened as his fist lands.
Yes.
Myriad.
Ooh.
After seeing that.
Wow. I mean, these boys are always trying to do stuff like this. One of them has to do something big and the other one has to do something big back. Somebody has to shake the entire foundation of the keep,
Of course, yes.
And as I'm saying this, I'm gonna try to charm him. I'm gonna cast Charm Person.
Okay. He's of course rolling against that. Ooh. Okay. He rolled a 17.
He is not going to be charmed by me.
Excuse me. And Charm Person is one of those that he knows it was attempted, correct?
Yeah. Well, I think he knows if it works if it works, then he knows when it ends. I don't know if he knows if it fails.
Okay. Yeah, and then this guy's not one of the spellcasters, so he wouldn't know enough about that. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, you reach out to try to use your magical wiles against him, and you can see his eyes glass over for a moment, but then he just shakes his head, and you can tell it did not take hold. And he just looks at you.
You know what? As I get closer to you, you're not so cute after all. Calbert, you go ahead and punch him now.
Wait. Before we punch him, wow, this may be a little left. I'm gonna use your character like you got. Okay, like you said, Kev, I'm gonna cast Modified Memory on this guy.
Okay.
Need a wisdom saving throw.
Oh boy. All right. Interesting. Okay. Ooh, okay. Well, he rolled an 18 wisdom, he said. It's going to just be a 18. He's got a +0.
This guy
My goodness.
they conditioned him well.
Yeah, like he's all right. You know what, Calvert? Smack him again. Oh, jeez. Hey, listen, before our friend beats you into a bloody pulp, it would be within your best interest just to answer some questions. What you do after that's on you.
You know what? I bet he doesn't even know. I bet that's why he's not telling us anything. He doesn't know. He doesn't know anything.
You know what? That makes sense.
I bet he doesn't even know what the guy was chanting.
Yeah, he must be one of the lower level
He doesn't
tier.
even speak the language. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's probably his first day.
Intern. You're an intern.
Izo, why don't you go ahead and roll a deception or performance check, whichever you think would be more fitting. I mean, it's probably the same bonus for you.
Yeah, they're the same modifiers.
But however you think this would be, and
I'm gonna use one of my I think it's one of my warlock skills. I'm gonna give myself advantage.
Okay.
Skills called medium. I don't know. I've never used it before, but so I don't have proficiency in that skill, so I'm gonna give myself advantage on it. And I'm gonna remember to use the advantage button in D&D Beyond. Okay. So it's gonna be a 21.
Okay. So what happens, Izo, is when you attempt this, you hear it's strange. You had mentioned previously in our narrative here that your warlock powers are new to you. And so I'm going to think that actually this specific thing that happens right now will actually be new as well. As you begin to talk and you begin to try to deceive this guy, what happens is you hear a secondary voice in your head. It sounds like someone telling you what to say specifically to try to manipulate this guy. And you find yourself inherently channeling this voice, and you say what this voice is saying, and the words that you just said as a player, Katie, come out of Izo's mouth, led by this voice in her head. You don't recognize the voice for a moment, but it feels familiar to you, and the gentleman looks at you. It is not my first day. I know exactly what we are doing here. You will not get me to betray the Obsidian. And I know you fools will not kill me outright. You, knight. That would be murder if you killed me, a man tied up, unable to defend himself. It was different before, but here, now, in this moment, it would betray your orders, wouldn't it? And you, like I could trust anything that you have to say. But then he looks back to you, Izo. But you know pain, you know loss. I will tell you what you want to know. Only you. These other two can rot for all I care.
Okay, you heard him. Get lost.
All right. I'm going to back up. I'm not going to like it, but I'm going to back up. And as I back up, second level detect thoughts, just surface level.
Ooh.
This guy, you can tell as you kind of feel your presence sift into his brain as you try to detect the thoughts that he has. His surface thoughts are anger, annoyance, and also you can tell that there is a very small tinge of fear, but not for any of the three of you. Fear for something else. Fear, you would guess, if he fails, that someone else will punish him worse than you all will.
Yeah, I know I'm doing a lot, and I'm sorry. As I'm backing up, I turn around and verbally go, "Oh, Miss Izo," but cast message to her to make it obvious, like I'm doing it, or to cover up that I'm doing it. He's afraid of failing who they work for. Play on that if you can. I'm sorry, Miss Izo. I forgot what I was going to say. I'm just going to tune my guitar.
Oh, that's okay. It happens to bards all the time. But she gives him like a little, very subtle, like wink that she, like, understands and heard what he said.
The man doesn't seem to notice this wink that the two of you have, this slight innuendo for a moment.
Okay.
Calbert will also back up. He does give the man another withering look and makes a point of definitely, like, jabbing him a little with his foot as he turns, sort of one plate-mailed sabaton kicking into his ribs, but then does walk away.
So after a moment, Izo, the two gentlemen, the two boys, walk away, leaving you to do what you need to do. The man just looks at the two of them, makes sure they're out of earshot, and then he just turns his gaze towards yours.
They are gone now. I think I know why you want to talk to me. So what do you have to say?
We can offer you a better choice than they can.
What is that?
A place to belong. You know how it is for your kind. Urakians are not exactly given the full privileges of everyone else. We've accepted beast folk into our ranks. We can find a place for you to exist.
This is true. I like the dark. But why would you want to follow someone who has done such great evil, killed such a magnanimous force in this world? Why?
The tyrant's power is absolute. And when he returns, after the way has been paved, he will show you all what true darkness is. Only those who are not blind to its effects will know. You can be spared, Izo. Or you can die
How?
like these others will. How?
Yes.
Join us. Let me go, or come with me. I will take you to where the rest of my people are. I will introduce you to someone who I think you might find interesting.
Really?
Yes. The foolish people might call her witch. But she is powerful and she is strong, and she knows her way about things. She can teach you the
Really?
way.
But why would she? You know, you've hit a strange chord. I worry about this mission that I'm on. I don't know why they sent me. I do worry that I will fail. So why would this woman help me? How do I know you are telling truth?
That's what trust is, isn't it? Just thinking someone's telling the truth rather than knowing it.
What kind of powers does she have?
Her power is absolute. She was gifted strength by the tyrant himself before he was taken from this world. She can change her face. She can change yours. She can make you think things that are not true and know truths that are not known. She can even change her shape, her body. She can take the form of animals, creatures of the night that no longer exist. And she knows of a great force, a burning fire that exists far to the west of here. It gives her her strength.
If this is true, why would the tyrants give this person such power? Couldn't she defeat him?
No one can defeat the tyrant. You will see
Does
when
he-
he returns.
Does he love her?
So the legend goes.
Ah,
You can ask her yourself.
what is her name?
Kadara.
That is a nice name. Well, I don't know. I'm still. I don't know. I'm still on the fence. What would keep you from just trying to kill me if I come with you?
Nothing, I suppose.
Hmm.
Let me go and let's find out. You don't need them. I saw what you did out there.
Well, compliments will usually get you everywhere, but I think in this case I'm going to have to go with no. And then I would just like to just bite the heck out of this guy's neck, please.
Okay, roll an attack roll with advantage, because he doesn't think you're going to attack him. And he's basically just...
I would like to try to do a throat rip. Okay.
DM, can I make a perception check to see if I hear the word witch?
Yes, go right ahead. And yes, in fact, Miko, the okayest GM in chat, that did escalate quickly.
Yeah. I was gonna say, DM, I assume I don't have to make a perception check to hear this guy shriek when he starts vampiring him.
Right.
Right.
So, Izo, what is that attack roll? Real quick, what did you get?
22.
22? What did you get, Ian?
Oh,
It was a dirty 20.
Yeah, you did. You heard him make mention of a witch. Yeah.
With that dirty 20, do I also hear the name that he gave of the witch?
Yeah, we'll say that when he said witch, you started kind of half listening, and yeah, we'll say you heard him talk about Kadara and the secret flame that has power with, I guess you could say. And then it was 20 something you said, Katie?
22.
22. Okay. Yeah, go and roll damage.
That is going to be 10. What is it? Acid?
Ooh.
Poison? Something? Acid. 10 acid damage.
Okay. And yeah, so as you're listening, and Calbert, as you're off to the side, again, you guys are both kind of keeping half your attention on the man and on Izo to see what's going on. You see her suddenly lunge forward, and she does. She sinks her fangs right into the side of this man's neck, and he screams, "Ah!" And there's like foaming skin that burns around her mouth, and she rips it free, and there is something red that flashes across the wall here. Something squiggles in her mouth, and she spits out onto the ground, and the man, his lifeblood just sprays and trickles down the side of him, and he looks up at her with just shock and just utter complete just horror, and he goes, "You will die as well." And he just falls backward, slumped onto the wall, and the blood pumps and eventually stops to a slow trickle.
And she'll just kind of spit the rest of the flesh out of her mouth and say, "Thanks for the information." Sorry,
Nice.
I had to.
Yeah, I love it. And I think, gentlemen, you are taken aback, like, what?
Yeah. There was definitely an audible, like, damn, like from Malik. it's just like, what? Okay.
Oh my. So,
Okay, I lost my temper, but he tried to get me to turn my coat.
Yeah.
Will I do this? No.
It
But I did
was
get some information that I think you would like to hear.
it was slightly a worse death than he perhaps deserved, but certainly, if you gained information.
Too far? Well,
Malik does this. He goes, "You got a little."
thank you.
yes, he's
Little-
pulled a
a little-
handkerchief out of a
little
coat that's
throat
on
there.
on the outside of his jacket, right around
Thank
like
you.
where the breast would be. He pulls a little handkerchief out, hands to you.
You keep that. That's yours now. It's a gift.
I see that you also follow the courtly ways, Malik.
Ah,
And
yes.
chivalry never dies. You know what I'm saying?
Precisely.
Well, would you like to hear what he told me?
Yes.
Yes.
She's gonna tell them everything.
Okay.
There is a witch, Kadara, and I think this information will help us to be able to spot her, because she can be anything. If we see a creature that is extinct, or a face, she can be any face, any animal. And it seems that this tyrant might care for her. So she could pose as big a threat of him, but perhaps could be some leverage, knowing that they have some sort of relationship.
Can I? Because I still have the book. Like I kept it.
Yeah.
Can I thumb through it real quick to see if there's any mention?
Of what specifically? Of the tyrant? Of Kadara? What?
So, I guess above table, right?
Mhm.
Of Kadara mainly. That's what he's looking for. But if Malik comes across something about the tyrant, then yes, then that's what he'll outwardly portray to the group.
Sure.
Yeah, and while he's doing that, I'm also curious if any of this is ringing a bell for Calbert, having dealt with this group before a little bit, hunting them a little. Obviously, you know, the tyrant is his like sworn enemy and the sworn enemy of his whole order.
Yes, right. Right. Yeah, perfect. Let's do this then. Let's have. There's two ways you can go about this, Ian, with your character. You can either do something real quick, like a thumb through, like you said, to be a perception check, or you can do a longer, more pronounced way to look through it, something more like an investigation check as you like research through the book, whichever approach you would want to take. And I think for you, Brian, as Calbert, it would just be a straight history check.
Okay.
Izo, is there anything you want to try to piece together about the information or think about or anything like that?
I think I'm gonna leave them to the research. I'm just picking tendons out of my teeth, and I'm angry. I'm still angry.
Sure, absolutely. Okay.
I'm gonna do investigation, but I'm also gonna use borrowed knowledge to add my proficiency to that. So, yes. 24.
Ooh, okay. 24 for you with your investigation. And what did you get, Calbert, on the history check?
I got a 3, so I don't remember much.
Okay.
And then there was Calbert.
I said he's not a scholar. That's not what he does.
He is a warrior. So, very quickly, Calbert, from the information that Izo gave you that the man passed along, you've heard of the tyrant. Obviously, as you said, he is your sworn enemy. But the rest of this is new to you. You haven't heard of this witch. You haven't heard of this Kadara. You're not sure of what they were doing here. But it does all kind of seem to have some sort of connection because this is the book that they stole from the area that you are from. So definitely the path has led you here. So that's really the best you can glean out of everything. And as you look through the book, Malik, looking specifically for any sign of Kadara or of the tyrant or anything like that, as you flip through the book, you really take some time analyzing each page. I mean, you don't read it cover to cover. That would take a lot longer than the hour or so you take looking through it. But what you do is as you move through it, you'll see that it is a tome that probably the purpose of it would be it's some sort of religious text, but it's not a religious text in terms of like, it's not like a Bible, you know, it's not like a book of how to follow a religion. It's almost a book that is, for lack of a better description, it is different sections of a story, it would seem like. It's almost as if, the parts of it you can kind of glean and figure out what it is. It's almost like some sort of, well, the best way you would think of it would be, it's like one of those old ancient epic poems that ancient people used to write about, you know, great heroes. But this one seems to be about a great villain. It seems to be about this man who, as best you can tell, is a stranger from a distant land. He is a man that the book refers to as Najastar, and he is a man who came from a distant land, came to Nier, and had different choices and different interactions that he had with the different people here. It makes mention of the ancient ones that he talked with, that he actually struck up some sort of deal with. And when the ancient ones did not follow through with their deal, he had to be forced to attack them. The story goes that he decimated half of their army by using magics against them. And it even goes as far as to say that he actually then went to a island that in the text is called Nu, N-U. You're not too familiar with what's going on with it, but you do know that he went to this island, and at this island he enacted a ritual of some sort to bring it so that the world would be changed. It's kind of in the middle part, it's a little bit loose and kind of abstract, but it does make mention towards the end of how Najastar will return someday, and when he does, he will liberate the people and bring them strength. There is no mention of Kadara, however, except for maybe one mention. It does mention that there is a pupil that Najastar had, a girl that he taught the magics to before she disappeared.
I think while Malik he's fully sat down and he's thumbing through the book and using his trait that I had said, the borrowed knowledge, you can see that he has a focused look as he's going page to page, and as he's going from page to page as best as he can, the frustration is growing bigger and bigger, and in his head he's getting flashes, and you just see an area full of people, and these are quick flashes. There's music in the background. There you hear glass in the background breaking. There's a flash of a pair of female eyes that go across, and a smile and a gentle laugh in the background, and then it keeps flashing to black and light, music and people, and it just gets ferociously bigger and bigger. And if you guys are paying attention to him, his eyes start to flicker a red again, and as he comes to the point where he's not finding what he thinks he needs, he closes the book and he throws it on the ground and he swears out loud, and he turns his head real quick, and there's small wisps of smoke that just comes from his left eye, but he wipes it away real quick as if it's like, just dust, and he turns around and he goes, this is it's helpful, but I think there's more that we need to look for.
Are you well, Malik? You
I'm tired.
You seem to lose yourself for a moment there.
It's nothing. I'm just a little. After all of this, I'm a little tired. But yeah, I'll be okay.
Well, we should get away from this area, I think, and figure out what our next move is going to be. Perhaps we can rest.
The night is long. We still have a fair amount of moon ahead, I should think, to guide our way. I agree a rest will be in order. As for our next move, though, with any luck, perhaps we can find some trail that these cultists left, leading back to this Kadara, or wherever it is that they suggested you follow him, Izo. Calbert is gonna go over to his horse, and he, sort of pats its neck as he grabs the lantern off from its stand, and he's gonna start sort of patrolling around the fort, hoping to find any tracks or signs of which direction this group came from.
Okay.
Being that there was a half dozen of them, he's hoping that they left some sort of trail.
Absolutely. Okay. You take the lantern, and as you the pole is specifically for when you are riding, so it's a long.
Yeah, right now he's just sort of holding it up
Okay.
to provide a little bit of light as he walks around.
Perfect. Yeah, so as you go over and you are dismantling it off of your horse and you pull it down, you bring it down and you swear for just a moment it flickers green, but doesn't stay.
He sort of whirls around and is very much almost paranoid look on his face, eyeing around different directions. And he does glance at his new companions here. But given that it was just a flash of green, he brushes it off and returns to his search.
Okay. Are you going alone, or is anyone going to accompany him? Or I'm not leading you, I'm just asking.
I would help.
Okay.
Malik's
Would you accept her help?
He's
or-
saying,
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty
Yeah, absolutely.
good with nature stuff.
Okay. So, and Malik, you said you were staying here to have some time to yourself. Maybe this is even
Yeah.
part of when you're looking through the book. Maybe I'm not sure. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So perfect. All right. So we'll come back to you in just a minute, then, Malik. So Calbert and Izo, you both go out. The lantern light, it does function like a lantern as well. I mean, it has a light. So it's about 20-foot radius light source that is relatively bright for a lantern. Then there's another area, maybe about another 15 feet past that, that's kind of dim light, enough to illuminate as you guys are walking around. And you go about trying to see what's going on in the area. As you are walking around, you don't see any sort of change to the color of the light, Calbert, which is reassuring. There's no undead nearby, nothing that's going to jump out and attack you guys. Pardon me, attack you guys as you're traveling. But if we could, let's have both of you, just to be, on the up and up about it, let's have each of you make a perception test for me, please, as you are
Sure.
traveling around.
That is an 18 for Calbert.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Mine's a 13. I'm a little distracted.
Well, that's not a problem. So as the two of you are walking along, like I said, you don't notice anything out of the ordinary, but you do notice that there is, in fact, a worn path through the area over here, Calbert, that seems to lead back in the direction that would lead back to the main duchy proper, like the main section of like the city. So this is more than likely the path that they came from. And as you're walking around, Izo, you don't noticing anything out of the ordinary. You don't notice anything that really calls to you, but your thoughts, they do kind of distract you for a moment. You find yourself kind of going back to the moments before you were here with these two men, about how you and the rest of the keepers, the rest of your order, I guess you could say, came here to this keep to investigate and see what was going on. So the thought of yourself, the 11 other people that you were with, this group of, the dozen of you came over, and the area here all looks the same, but it doesn't at the same time. Everything just seems to be the same area, but it's almost like, for lack of a better description, it's almost like a long passage of time has happened, because the keep is now in rubble. The trees of the area are much larger and bigger than you had expected them to be. So yeah, it's a little bizarre. It's a little disconcerting. So your mind is kind of lost with all of that for a moment. So you don't notice anything out of the ordinary with the landscape. You don't notice the trail back. Is there anything between the two of you that you might want to discuss while you're walking along? I'm not leading you. I just want to make sure if there's anything you did want to do, you have an opportunity. That's all.
I mean, would Calbert be able to sort of pick up on the fact that she's sort of looking around at these, the environment and noticing that things are unlike what she expected?
What's your passive insight, or do you have proficiency in insight?
I'm proficient. My passive insight is 15.
Okay. Yeah, I think you would definitely notice that she seems a bit wistful, like she's thinking about something. She's lost in thought, maybe a little bit distracted. So yeah, it would be something you would notice for sure.
Whence is it you traveled from, Lady Izo? I don't believe that you had mentioned earlier simply that it was far away.
It was a long time ago. 30 years after the sun was destroyed. I remember the keep. It was in fine condition when I left. And
I beg pardon. You said that you traveled from 30 years after Laun was taken captive?
Yes, it was not far away, it was here, but at another time.
So I guess I sort of have to ask the question to be able to understand like how Calbert would respond to that. How common is the concept of that kind of magic in this world? Is this something he would immediately sort of understand what it is that has brought her here?
Make an Arcana roll, please.
Oh, good. You're asking for more intelligence-based rolls, huh?
Hey.
That's a 6.
Okay. You're not sure. I mean, it definitely was magic. You saw her come out of that pinkish purple fuchsia type energy. You saw her emerge from there. She is speaking about a time period that was, in essence, 130 years ago.
Yeah.
So.
Forgive me, Lady Izo. I'm not familiar with this. You speak of generations passing. The duchy fell and rose again in the period you describe. And you say that you have traveled all of that distance to arrive here?
Kev, I just want to make sure that I know, like, there's certain secrets that I'm not allowed to, like, share upon a great penalty, so I want to make sure I, like, know what those are. I know I'm not supposed to, but I don't think one of them was the time travel, right? I think I'm allowed to talk about that. I don't think she probably typically would have.
Yeah, I think, whatever
Okay.
information you feel free to give as your character is totally fine. You've been briefed accordingly, so you're fine. I appreciate you asking, though, Katie. That's
I know.
nice
I remember where there's this whole paragraph about the terrible things that happen to me if I break the secret, and I'm like, I better read that paragraph again.
You're fine.
Okay. It's
Don't worry.
hard to explain. Yeah. You're planning terrible things for me behind the scenes. I know it.
Yeah, she's as soon as she opens her mouth, you're gonna start reading off. All right, disability, disadvantage.
Kev has like a
10d10
file.
necrotic damage.
I know.
You know what?
A file that labeled.
No, it's
Gonna do some rolls here real quick.
I'm gonna make a quick roll.
Right.
And,
No, I mean this is fascinating because it's one of the really cool things about this setting is that we have this concept of like time travel magic baked in, sort of, which gets wacky.
Well, Notte Eterna, everybody. Y'all better be playing.
I know.
You can find out more by getting the quick start if you go to the link tree that is located above Annika's section here, her character that we have not met yet. That link tree there has the quick start guide that talks a little bit about some of the stuff we're talking about. The area, the duchy is right inside there, these races, character stuff. So anyway, I digress. But go ahead, Katie.
So as I was saying, it is, I can't explain it really. So you've never met anyone who has come from another time?
Not that I was aware of. Certainly not someone coming from as long ago as you are describing.
Well, I've never done it before, actually. It's my first time. It is a very sacred mission to defeat the Obsidian. That's all I know. I have to do it. And this talk of the witch and looking around in this place that I know but I don't is strange. That's all.
Well, believe me when I tell you that I am no stranger to sacred missions and dealing with their ilk. So
I could tell that when I met you, actually. I think we are a small group, but I think I ran into the right people, and I think we can make a difference.
Indeed. And especially here we are. See those footprints? They came from looks like the city.
Yes.
I'll be traveling back that way then.
Onward.
Indeed. Let's go speak with Malik. Hopefully he's still well enough to continue our travels.
Yes.
So the two of you begin to head back, or?
Yeah, I think we'll go get Malik and tell him we found, like, we figured out where they're going, and or where they came from, rather. Yeah, where they came from.
Yeah, okay.
And we should probably head that way for our next clue.
Yes, that's right. So the two of you turn to go back, and as you turn to go back, Izo, you get that weird feeling again, that tingling sensation all throughout your body. It's got a weird, again, it's like waking up. It's like falling asleep. It's like being under the effects of some sort of strange poultice or something. It's just, you're disconcerted a little bit, your thoughts are a little bit lost again, but you continue along and you walk back towards the now ruined keep. And as you walk, you swear, yes, that's right. As you look ahead, it's still night, but you see the keep restored in front of you for a moment. The light, oh no, I'm sorry, not the light, but the effects of the night kind of obscure for a moment, and you could see it fully restored ahead of you. You can see the movements of the rest of the members of your order walking around, doing the preparations that they were doing, doing the different steps that they were doing to try to find out more information about the Obsidian. You see that there is a glimmer of that purplish energy that is nearby where you first came in contact with it. The memory of someone, you remember, someone arrived and something, yes, they were attacking, something happened, and you remember being drawn out of where you were, getting pulled through that purple magic and finding yourself with the boys, I guess you could say. And as you think about this, you look, your attention is going to dart over towards Sir Calbert for a moment, and maybe even to point this out. But when you look back again, the ruins remain. This vision is gone. The tingling is gone.
Oh, that was strange.
What was strange? Did Izo? Are you well?
I keep getting this feeling, this sensation. It happened first when the purple light dissipated. It felt like a rush through my whole body, and I just felt it again. It's like a kind of not hot, not cold, and also hot and cold and tingly feeling. And I remembered the keep as it was. And where I was.
After effect of the magic, perhaps?
Yes.
Strange. Calbert is gonna, not particularly thinking it will work, but he's going to sort of, like, raise a hand hesitantly and sort of look to Izo and say, like, may I? And if she allows it, he's gonna just place the hand on her shoulder. And Izo, you'll feel this just incredible benevolent warmth flow into your body, as I will go ahead and use some points from Lay on Hands to basically try and cure a disease and or neutralize a poison.
Okay.
Again, sort of assuming that neither of those will work, but giving it a try in any case, just in case it would help.
Sure, absolutely. Izo, you do feel this benevolent force go through you, as he mentioned, but you don't feel any different besides that.
Okay. Well, I was a few hit points down, so thanks.
Nice.
Hey, that works too.
Yeah, right.
And the
Yeah,
two of you
you-
continue to walk back, and as you do so, Malik, you're still sitting there, and you finish looking through the book as you were doing before. Is there anything else specifically you want to find your attention drawn to? Anything else that might come to mind, or anything else you want to know in the meantime?
In this moment, no, because that whole ordeal was a lot on him. And while Calbert and Izo were doing their scouting, Malik has an internal struggle that he's fighting. Everything feels like it's vibrating, like around him, and his hand begins to burn hot. And he looks down, and out of his coat jackets are two ghostly hands that wrap around his that create the burning, And through that, he's standing there and he's going, no, 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 no. We've been good this long. It's all right. And it's just searing pain as he hears his two companions walk up and tries to resolve himself. When he turns around, you guys see like a little steam coming off of his hand. He puts it behind his back and he makes it seem like he's fixing his guitar and like securing the book. And he's like, what'd you guys find? You guys find anything? Anything?
Well, as expected,
Do we see any of this?
more or less.
Any of the skeleton hands?
You do see the steam, as he mentioned. You do see he's a bit out of sorts.
Okay. Malik, I think you might still be on fire a little bit.
There's damn cultists and that floating sword. I don't know. I'll figure it out. It happens sometimes. And then he kind of just turns away.
Well, anyway, we found the way. Let's go.
Yeah, Calvert now being met with like, okay, the second person here also has weird magic stuff going on that I do
Right.
not understand.
Yeah.
He's just like, well, as expected, more or less, the cultist's trail seems to lead back into the duchy proper, so that is where we are headed. I actually am aware of where they absconded with this book from, so probably if we head to that place, we might perhaps find some sign of what it was that they were hoping to accomplish, what their next moves might be.
That is a good idea. You did say you knew of Urakian people, but do you think I will have any trouble with, in this time, how I look?
I would suggest not ripping people's throats out if you can avoid doing such things. The vampiric
I
menace
do not
is
need to
a
write that down.
much more recent memory for many of my people, so perhaps
Sure.
avoid that. Otherwise, you will receive strange looks. Give
I have a
the
question
people no
about that,
reason.
too.
Only if someone tries to kill me, then.
Give the people
answered
no
my
reason
question.
to take up arms against you or fear you innately, and everything should be fine.
That's right.
Especially if you accompany myself.
Yeah. So yeah.
Good.
Yeah, he's basically saying that there are vampires that are around that could perhaps cause a problem. But as an Urakian, yeah, he knows and he would relate to you that there's not going to be any problem with that. The Urakians are common. They are around. It's not going to be any sort of problem that you are Urakian. So yeah, the three of you kind of get up, reconvene, get back ready to go again. And as you all turn to leave, to go out of the ruins and make your way towards the path, back towards what's going on, as you begin to move, Iso, you're the last in the group. You take a moment, you're collecting your things and getting ready to do stuff. And as you go to step out of the area, you happen to pass by that area where the altar was. And as you start to step along the way, you start to feel that tingling sensation again. This time, however, it's stronger. Whereas before it was just something that was light, something uncomfortable, this actually feels like something is gripping you, something is grabbing you and trying to hold you back from the others. They actually get a few paces ahead of you before you actually have enough wherewithal to react and kind of maybe even give any sort of notice about what's going on. But you just feel this tingling sensation growing stronger.
I think because the other ones came and went so fast, now that I'm feeling it more strongly, I want it to continue so that I can see what it is. So I would go closer to it, to the altar.
Okay.
And I probably wouldn't even think to tell them. I would let them keep going.
Okay. So as the two of you continue to walk forward, Izo, you start to slow your pace. You move up towards where the altar is. And as you do, you can actually see that there is a shimmering to the air, a tingling that the air seems to match to your own. As the feeling starts to get stronger, it's almost like you're swimming through thick water, or maybe even passing through a curtain, but it's deeper than that. It's stronger than that. It's not just a matter of movement. It's a matter of feeling like you are in a different place. And as you move, you feel the tingling start to grow. Your body starts to get uncomfortable. You start to feel an unease, a strange fear, almost a strange connection that's pulling you and making you feel out of sorts. And as you continue to walk along, you see that the air around you starts to ripple as well. There is that purple energy that you saw before, you see is behind you now. It illuminates and stretches out your shadow long ahead of you. And as you continue to step, suddenly you can't take another step. Your feet are being pulled and mired into the ground, being slowly dragged back as if someone is physically grabbing you and pulling you back towards the energy. As this happens, you inherently reach out towards the others, but get pulled back. You find yourself elsewhere. You look around. The ruins that are here are no longer ruins, now a reconstructed keep, but it's not still the same as where you left it. When you left, there was the rest of your group, the 11 others moving around, investigating, looking at things, investigating relics, setting up a perimeter to try to get an idea of what the Obsidian might want with this place. Now, however, you see these 11 bodies, lifeless, around the ground in different sorts of arrays. Some of them have been slain with weapons, others of them have been killed with magic, leaving you and you alone in the ruins. You look around and you're truly alone. And as you two gentlemen in the head are moving forward, you look back to say something to Izo and find that she is gone. Not where she was behind you just a moment ago. It would seem that whatever force brought her here has decided to reclaim her and bring her back somewhere else. And we will find out specifically where next time. That is enough for tonight, everyone. Thank you so very much for tuning in. And on that amazing cliffhanger, we're going to go ahead and just, Katie was like, going to get real method and just kind of zoom out on us. That was awesome. Yeah, so this was great. Thank you so much. This is the first of a 5-parter, and we're going to see what's going on. We're going to do a little bit of some different type narrative stuff, as we will see. Next week, we're going to be joined by a different player as well. As you see, the space here for Annika next to me. You will enjoy what we're going to be doing next. But yes, this was great. Thank you 3 for playing. Appreciate it. It was so much fun. You guys all did an amazing job. I want to go ahead and go around the table real quick, and I want to have everybody say who they are, where we can really find them. Take as much time as you want to let everybody know all the amazing places that you do stuff, because I know you all are busy people. So we're going to go right in the same order we started with. Brian, start us off, my friend. Tell us where all we can find you, what all you're up to out there, my friend.
All right, so yeah, again, I'm Brian. Helix Missionary is my name on pretty much all of the socials. You can find me sparingly there myself if you're looking for me. Twitter, Twitch, that I haven't streamed on in months. But more interesting than me alone, in terms of my work in the RPG space, you can find me guesting on other programs like this, but mostly you can find me on a podcast called 2 Weeks One Shot. TWOS Cast is how you can find us most places, and we consider ourselves sort of an RPG variety comedy show, where we play a lot of different systems. We do one-shots in various games. It's a lot of the core 4 of us and various guests that we have making a lot of jokes, getting silly with it, having a good time. And we've done a lot of different games, including D&D 5th edition and a bunch of other systems as well. So if you're interested in that, like I said, Two's Cast, TWOS Cast, we're on pretty much all of the major podcast hosting sites and platforms. So definitely check it out.
Yeah, it's a great show. Yeah, you should definitely check it out. Thank you, Brian, for being here, bringing such amazing energy to Sir Calbert. I love it. Can't wait to see what he does next time. So thank you. Katie, I love it. You had such great cosplay. Katie does this, everybody. She is the cosplay queen. When she plays, she comes and she plays. So, Katie, thank you for playing you. So, tell us where else you're doing. I mean, you mentioned a little bit before, but please go through the whole litany right now. Tell us what all we can
Yeah,
find you at.
thank you. I almost always cosplay, even if nobody else does, just because I really enjoy it. I love costumes. I always have. So, um, you'll pretty much always find that when I play. I've got a series that's about to start on it's Crossroads Games on YouTube, and it's going to be D&D
channel.
All Witches. So I'm playing a bard in that campaign, and it's really good. There's some stellar people on that cast. So the first episode is going to premiere next Wednesday. Very excited about that. Also, Cast Die podcast is available anywhere you can get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I'm in a few campaigns on there, so you should check those out. And I'm also on socials, Katie O Lady on Twitter and Instagram. So I post a lot of my cosplay pictures there too, and you can also figure out, the projects that I'm doing.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it was fun, so thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
This is great stuff. Yeah, you do great stuff, Katie. So this was amazing to have you. Thank you so much. Can't wait to have you back in whenever Ezo comes back.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a mystery.
Oh yes, and Ian, my man, thank you so much for being here, buddy. Tell us where, because you also doing. See, these are three busy people. So what do you do, Ian? Tell us where we can find you, my friend.
Absolutely nothing.
No, that's it. Just this.
Hey, right? Just this. This is my whole week. First off, Kevin, fucking amazing. Sorry, expletive.
Oh, we're good. We're good.
This is already lining up to be so much fun. Hey everybody, I'm Ian, or your boy Big on all, and I mean all social media. That's YABOIBIG. And of course, tonight I played Malik, the Dance Macabre Bard. And if you want to know what I'm doing next, definitely follow my Twitter. That's where a lot of like the posts and updates are. Of course, I will be here next week, Friday, continuing this lovely story. Of course, on Wednesday, I'll be over at Wanderer's Haven playing in the wonderful world of Asteria. That is also just ridiculously fun. Sundays, I'll be on the Magic RPG channel playing in their Icewind Dale campaign season 2 as a bard over there as well. And of course, if you don't like seeing my face but you want to hear my voice, go on all major podcasts, and you can definitely hear me on the Emergent Code podcast, the Actual Play podcast, which is a Digimon themed game, which is a lot of fun. And of course, if that's too light for you, you want to get a little bit darker, you can find me guest starring on the Fame Game podcast for the VTM game, as I played Elder Kindred, well, more so than that club owner named Ramsey. So plus I got a lot of stuff coming out in October for the spooky season, some pre-recorded stuff, some charity streams. So again, follow my Twitter. It's gonna be lit.
Amazing. Yeah. See, as you can see, we don't mess around here at Notte Eterna. We get the best of the best on this stuff. So thank you guys so very much for finding the time to be here tonight, for hanging out. This was awesome. So I am Kevin. I was your Dungeon Master this evening. I am the U.S. Ambassador for Notte Eterna. I am the main DM here on the channel, as well as some other stuff that we have coming up. When I'm not here, you can find me on the socials at KevRan Games. And also you can find me over at Wanderer's Haven, which is another Twitch channel where we are kind of similar to what Brian was saying, how they do a variety of stuff. We do a variety of stuff there too, where there's miniatures painting sessions, we do games. I run a bunch of different one-shots there, as well as some upcoming games too, which we'll talk about later. But I want to say thank you again to the players for being here and having such a great time. Thank you all at home for watching and hanging out with us. We really hope to see you next time. I also want to thank Tabletop Audio for providing the amazing music that we had, as well as the Maps of Neutral Party for letting us battle on their realm tonight as we got to kill some cultists. And finally, I want to say thank you to Ali Rebelli and to Jason Forbes for allowing us to play the game. Great stuff. And that's it. That's pretty much everything and everything we need to talk about. So we're going to go and raid good friends of ours. Ian might have heard of them, Magic RPG. We're going to head on over and give them some love tonight. Because
tell them we sent you.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Tell them what's going on. Because we love to spread that wealth. Spread that love is what I'm trying to say.
There it is.
No wealth. I don't know why I said that. Wishful thinking. But This was a joy. Thank you so very much. So, folks at home, please join us next week, and be sure to be safe out there. Take care of each other. And until the next time we meet, may the moon smile upon you. Good night.